Let's dive in. Do I have my water?
You got your
Somewhere around.
bevy?
I do. I have
Oh,
to
I
buy
changed my
it.
name.
I have to buy a certain bevy for that thing we'll be doing in the future because yeah, I don't want to say too much, but usually I can't even say more. I'll wait till we're off air. I don't even want to say anything, but I gotta have some sort of bevy. I gotta get myself a lime Ricky. I haven't had one of those in quite a while, so
A what? What did you
a
say?
lime Ricky.
What the
I've
hell's
never had it
that?
before. It's a
No.
lime drink. It's really good. It's just a lime drink. It's just a brand, but it's as far as like I don't know where it was in the future, like in the future. In the past, there's like a lime drink I really liked. I never felt like I could get the exact one, like the exact type of taste. And this lime Ricky, whatever. Obviously, there's some like sugar flavoring, but whatever I view as like what I want lime to taste like, that's what a lime Ricky is. So,
Hmm. It's like more lime than just eating a lime.
100%.
No, I've never heard of them.
Oh yeah, I'll buy one. I'll
I'll
buy
look
a
it up.
couple cases one time and
The
do that.
Canadian
So
thing, or is it just
I think it's a Canadian thing. Maybe it's American, but I don't know for sure. But let me share the links here.
Lime Ricky, Hundreds of Hangovers official music video? It's not this.
No, that doesn't sound right.
It sounds like an alcoholic cocktail. Maybe you can ask for it
Ho-
in a bar.
Hopefully, go better than the Virgin Caesar this weekend.
Yeah, that's a refined taste. I didn't like Caesars the first time I had them. I
It's
grew
a
to
lot
like
of
them.
it's a lot of tastes, like very
Oh yeah.
quickly. Like boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
I like mine like very spicy too. Like just where you
And
feel it
like,
in the
hey, what's
chest.
American? He was asking if lime Rickies were American. No, I said just the whining's American.
Lime Crush Ricky. Is that it?
Kirkland Knoll sold me.
What's that?
Nothing. He said, "What's American?" I said, "Oh, he was asking the line. Ricky's were American." I said, "No, just the whining's American."
Just the whining.
Yeah. I got some stuff to bring up on that after, but okay.
Are you working tomorrow?
I am actually. Yeah, it might be
Yeah.
my last step for a while, but yeah, I'm gonna go make some stat
Did you
money
have
and
the
stuff like
option
that.
or
I always got the option. Yeah,
oh that's nice.
yeah. So it's up to me or whatnot. So Christmas is different because the stats are on the Monday and Tuesday, so I don't mind working them then. So
Yeah. If they gave me the option I would have gone.
you would have taken them.
I would have gone in. Shay works tomorrow, so
Oh yeah.
I'll I don't know, I'm having like a boys' day. I got Marco, a couple buddies. They're off too, so we're gonna hang out. And my one buddy Carson, he's like, "Hey, I got you guys want to come try out my new bow?" He's got like a bow and arrow. It's like, fuck yeah, why not? Do some manly things, shoot some bows.
So of course, no spoilers here. But were you spoiled, Kirkland? We'll talk about that when we talk about some Marvel stuff. But I think luckily he was not
I was
spoiled in
not
anything.
spoiled. If I think,
He's
if
definitely
I'm
saying,
thinking,
yeah, he's being
yeah.
cagey. He's talking about that thing. But let's start it up. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 427th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. It's good to be back. Usually we're podcasting a little later in the week. Usually we got like a newscast Monday or Tuesday, but we took some days off after the stream, and then Dexter were some crazy people. But I am the clown prince of podcast, Tress Nail, and I'm joined by
The friendly neighborhood caster, Kirkland Patzer.
yes, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to do. We're probably gonna do this the rest of the week, and then we'll lay off and knock it off. But again, just a big thank you for this past weekend. Great stream because it's our first newscast. So if you didn't like Dexter, don't watch Dexter. You may not heard us or whatnot. But go back and check the stream. There's in 4 parts. There's like the first part that's 12 hours is the trivia battle. Then there's the 12-hour like late when we're just being crazy and yelling stuff. And then there's the head shaving. So there's 4 parts there. So we did a bunch of thank yous there. But again, everybody that donated, watched, liked, shared, just a huge thank you. Our goal is $2,500 and we ended up raising $3,336. So not too shabby, pretty good. Fastest time we hit our goal, obviously the biggest goal yet. Yeah, it's crazy. I always get worried for the year after because it's just like before it's like, man, we raised 2,000. Now it's like, man, we raised 3,000. It's just, and this had Jessica's hair on the line. So next year I'm not expecting to hit it, but I say it every year, and that's probably like I said, the only year I expected to hit it, we didn't. So that's all. I'll just keep not expecting, but we'll probably be doing always big stuff. I'm hopeful because Briggs was saying he might be back next year, so I'd love to do the tournament again. We'll definitely be doing a trivia battle again because congratulations, Kirk, and you were on the winning side. Team Rangers took the win, but
Team
I got to,
Rangers.
yeah, go ahead. Anything you want to say?
Just I'm excited for my year of just trash talking to the Wolf Order. Can
Mm.
trash talk my grandpa. He's repping the Wolf Order shirt. Gotta
Yeah,
get
oh
him a
yeah.
Ranger shirt or something. But no, that was, I mean, all fun aside, it was just crazy having like that many people together like that,
Yeah.
and it was just like our actual like Civil War event basically, and
Hmm.
it was so much fun, and I can't believe how close it actually got. Going into Star Wars, I'm like, man, this is like a clean sweep. And then you guys were like on a roll there, come back. I'm not gonna lie, I was getting a little nervous, but
Yeah.
it was really really good turnout. And
That's
yeah,
what I want to bring up is Clay has said like, oh, he's on the stream that he said on DC Lions. Oh, and I got to kick Travis's ass. Okay, 1 point. If it was when we go into Star Wars and when you guys were up by 7, I'd give you and I would say, oh yeah, for sure. Marvel DC, yeah, you guys cleaned it pretty well there. Lots of times just luck of the draw, because how many times would someone get a question they would have known the answer, but they didn't do it? But Star Wars, we destroyed you guys, and it's just like you're just lucky that you ran out of questions. We were literally one
how old is
point away.
Grogu,
What?
Travis? How old is Grogu? Is that one gonna haunt
400
you?
years old. So yeah, definitely one question. It's gonna bug me, but that's where no, kick my ass. No, that's like some dude being like, "Oh man, I lasted a minute with this girl the other night. I really fucked her brains out." And the dudes are like, "Oh, I don't think that's how that works." That's me. You want to talk about ass kicking? What we did a few months ago in Rocket League when I 3-0'd him, and all the matches were like 8 goals apart. That's an ass kicking. This is just by the hair of your chin, because somebody got one question right, or somebody got one question wrong, and I'll give you the win. But as we've seen, we did trivia last year, we did it this year. It's definitely becoming a yearly thing. And I've already said to
Oh yeah.
Clay that I'm pretty sure what we're gonna be doing next year is I'm doing a full-on rematch, but we're just gonna be adding members because with that close, I want to run it back because that was a just a whiskers away. But I will give it to him, even though, yeah, kicking ass. Let's calm down there. These are these American terms. Oh, we really kicked their ass, eh? No. 1 point. But no, that was fun. And then also too, that's another thing. This is like silly Americans. They're like, Travis is like, well, Travis is Canadian. I don't even understand. He's like,
Travis
oh.
Hines.
Yeah, he's like on DC Lions. He's like, oh well, I guess because you beat him the trivia battle, that means you get a shot at his tail, right? Trivia, video games. One side trivia, one side video games. They have nothing to do with
You
each
said it's an
other.
American thing. It's probably a Newfie thing. So
It's a
he's
Newfie
barely even
American.
Canadian.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't even count. But no, that like completely separate. I'm focused on Kirkland Panther, the sports stuff, because we were gonna do it this Saturday, but because you guys donated, we realized, oh, we're gonna have to shave Jessica's head, and we knew that was gonna take long, so we postponed it. That's gonna be happening in January. We got a big doubleheader. I can start promoting it now because it's gonna be Dylan versus Taylor in Halo Infinite. I don't know.
Woo!
Dylan just threw down the gauntlet. I feel like he just I don't know why. So it's gonna be a good doubleheader because it's gonna be that, and it's gonna be me versus Kirkland, which is great too because we gave you fans the option to vote for our third match, and you fucking tied it. So you didn't help at all. You didn't give us any leeway. So no, it's going to be a good time. January will be the full-on return of the gauntlet. But yes, go down to the links below. Our Twitter, Facebook, everything down below. Our audio feeds, our video feeds, where to subscribe. If you are watching, like, rate, review, follow, all that good jazz. Head over to Patreon. That's the best place to listen. As we've said before, the more you support us, the more content we can create. We got some good stuff coming up. We got another comic versions in the plan. We're very, very busy, but I think I might have cracked the code to try and do some retros. We want to do Matrix, and we owe the patrons 3 retros right now. So we will be figuring out, but that's why I go support us and you give us more time to get this done. We just dropped Eternals review. Eternals feels like a fucking year ago
In
now.
eternal, like in eternity, you're
Yes.
gone.
Yes. Like the fact that was less than a week ago when we saw and reviewed, that doesn't feel like that. It feels like so
No,
long. I think that's what, like, obviously there's time change, but the 24-hour stream does that. You just get in this like
absolutely.
vortex of time and
And it
space and
was
everything like that.
that long of a movie. And if you're like
Yeah.
me, it was a brutal long movie.
When you watched Eternals and then you did 24-hour stream, it was like the exact same feeling. It
Yeah,
felt like
yeah.
it was 24 hours. And then we did Dexter. So, and a great weekend for us because Eternals, we kind of said this going in. We had a feeling because it was so debated, but our biggest day one review was Eternals, and then Dexter was our third biggest day. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
just behind that Loki finale, but I'm surprised with Dune and Shang-Chi. That's great to see. Again, our fan base, they just the Dexter retrospective, Dexter New Blood. I think we just got some sickos listening to us. They love when we talk about
I
serial
like it.
killers and creepy guys. So
I like the freaks.
it's our
You're
it's our
listening to this right now.
it's our demo, like the freak. So and if you're really I don't have no transition, but you know what? Just go get Manscaped. Manscaped 20. I was gonna say if you're a freak, but I feel like I don't know if Manscaped would want that associated.
If you're
Even
not
though
a
they did,
freak,
yeah, yeah. If you're
go
not
get
a
it.
freak, go get Manscaped. Even though the last ad read, they're telling us to go show your pubes up to your in-laws. So I don't know what they really want there. But yes, this
Maybe it
is
is
the
for
last.
freaks.
Yeah, it is for freaks. Yeah. So last week to the 15th, 20% off, free shipping. Not only do you help us, you help yourself out and your family jewels and your lovely lady or your groovy gentleman, whoever you're showing it off to. You want to be prepared because, yeah, like I said, you're going to be bundling up for winter. And it's good. You know, this is the thing, Kirkland Patzer. This is the thing I made up. This isn't even an ad read. All of us in the winter, you get cold. There's nothing warmer than body temperature. But you
Yeah.
know what? That bush that would get in the way, that would kill the body temperature. You don't want that. You don't like you want you want to take off all this sort of whatnot and still look nice and pristine.
No,
So
exactly. We're in the
yeah.
month of November. No shave November. Some people follow that, but it never applies to your family jewels.
No.
That's always shave all year
And
round.
and especially for those people that are celebrating nonstop November, you definitely want to do the Manscaped.
Absolutely.
So
Maximum performance, good
oh,
aerodynamics. Yeah, you want all of
100%.
that.
Yeah, so the code GVPOD GVPod 20% off, free worldwide shipping. Go do that. Yeah, we got some good topics today. I was surprised by how much had come out this week, and it's still Friday, so we're going to talk about that. But so originally, if you guys don't know, to break the fourth wall, what we do is usually you can see every Monday or Tuesday it's two GV members, and at the end of the week it's all three of us. It was Taylor's week, but I swapped with them because anytime Joker's the main story, you know your boy has to find his way. I know Clay and everything, but, oh, of course it's Joker, but it's my boy. So it's interesting. I had Eternals last week, and now we have some Eternals topics. So let's start with this big one, and because this is one where it's tough because there legitimately it's like the war of the C tier scooper. So I'm gonna give you the kind of the outline of what has happened. So I still don't know how to say his name. Barry Keoghan? Is that how we're going with Barry Keoghan? The guy who played Druig in Eternals.
Barry, yeah, Keoghan or
So
something.
Barry Keoghan sounds good, but yeah, so Barry, he was in Eternals as Druig. He's been in a few other things. He's in Green Knight. So there was this thing of he's been cast in the Batman months and months ago, probably a year ago, where he's legitimately been cast. He's just in an unknown role. At one point, it was he as an officer, and the rumor was kind of going around that he was a dirty cop. So it's like, okay, that makes sense. It's a smaller role. But then there were these rumors going around that, okay, it is maybe he's playing Mad Hatter because we've heard Mad Hatter's in this. I don't know if I believe. Maybe he is. I just look at this world that the Batman's doing and go, really, the Mad Hatter is going to be in this movie? But that's fine. So, okay, maybe it's a down to earth, version of that. And then there were these rumors of like, well, no, the Mad Hatter is almost kind of like a cover for what he's really playing, and the role is of the Joker. Now, this is the fun thing because and these have all just been C tier scoopers, nothing big. So this is just kind of like a fun speculative story because we could fucking watch the movie and be like, oh yeah, he is just a cop that dies on the side of the road, but it's just interesting because of the time of the Eternals. But then there's been other C tier scoopers went, no, this is not true at all. Unless there's something that I didn't know about, unless they filmed something secretly, which could easily happen. He's not the Joker. So you got some people saying he is the Joker, some people saying he isn't. So I have two questions for you, Kirk and Petzer. But first of all, you've only seen him in Eternals. So how would you feel if they come to you and say,
He's
yeah,
in
this is good?
Dunkirk as well.
Yeah, he
I
was in
forgot he was
Dunkirk,
in
right?
that.
He was on the fucking boat, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah,
Yeah, I've kind of
that's right.
blanked that part out of my. That's probably my least
Forgettable role.
favorite. Yeah, that's probably my least favorite part of the movie is that fucking boat sequence with Cillian Murphy and
Apparently, he was in. Sorry,
no, go ahead.
Killian
What
Murphy.
else?
I was gonna say apparently he was in the Chernobyl miniseries as well. I can't remember
Oh
him
yeah.
being in that, but I saw the whole thing. That was
He
phenomenal
Oh
miniseries, but
yeah,
don't
he
remember
just
him in
pops
that.
up place. Like, I'm excited for you to watch Green Knight because he's in that, and
Yeah,
he's in Killing of a Sacred Deer with Colin Farrell, the Penguin. It's a minor spoiler, but you probably won't get around to this. But Killing of a Secret Deer, it's this very weird movie, but it's this movie where okay, so he's friendly with this guy who's a surgeon, but it's revealed, and it's very early on that like, oh, this surgeon kind of botched his dad's surgery, so he gives him this ultimatum that he has to like kill one of his family members or he'll kill them all and stuff like that. And it's not in a scary way. He literally has them over for pass and just tells them that, and he's just like, yeah, like this is just the way life has to be. Like it's only fair that you lose one of your family, and it's like really common and stuff like that. So you've seen him in a few things. How would you feel about if he was playing Joker opposite of Robert Pattinson?
yeah. I mean, I've liked, like I'll just say I've only really seen him in Eternals because in Dunkirk, like I feel like I could be in Dunkirk and you could
Yes,
say
you
that I
could.
did a good
Yeah.
job. So, and then Chernobyl, I can't even remember who he was in that one. But nonetheless, I feel like like his performance in Eternals was one of the bright spots for me in that movie. I really liked his character. I liked the actor enough, I guess. Um, so I'm not opposed at all to him being in this Batman,
Yeah.
but before when we were talking about like the possibilities of having like Joaquin's Joker or just someone else's Joker like in this movie, I was just against the whole idea of just having the Joker in this movie. I feel like it's just way too much baggage to introduce in this movie that we already have the Riddler, Catwoman, Penguin, and like all these other things, and then
Hmm.
like Bruce
Maybe Mad
Wayne,
Hatter.
Batman, yeah, maybe Mad Hatter slash Joker, and then
Mm.
just along with all the other like mental struggles that Batman might be going through in this movie. I just feel like keep it at that without the Joker Mad Hatter stuff. Now, if the Mad Hatter is very, very minor and maybe he's just like maybe he's more relevant like in the next film or something, like they're kind of just
Yeah.
setting up something. And again, if that's not Mad Hatter, if that's the Joker, I'm not incredibly against it, but just initially I'm still gonna be on that same hill that I was last time that we talked about, where I'm like, honestly, just keep the Joker out of it right now, because in my mind, I can see it going wrong more ways than going right in the first film. So I just don't want that. I'm already so incredibly excited for this movie. If I get the first look and he's the Joker, and it's like, you know, I don't know if I can put that out there, but like it's like a Heath Ledger type, like just vibes from it. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say the performance or anything like that. Just like I'm getting that vibe from it. Then I'll completely just say I was wrong. I'll be eating my own words here, but initially in my mind, I'm just like I think he would be really good in the movie because I like the actor and everything, but just the role personally, I don't really like it just on paper or in my mind
It's
at this point in time.
it's
And
still the
especially
joke. Oh, I was gonna say it's still just the presence of that character right now. It's just kind of making you be like, yeah, I don't
exactly.
know.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. Because, like, again, when we were talking about like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, like I absolutely love that performance, and I still just wanted them to keep it separate, as at least
Mhm.
for now. Just establish a good, solid foundation with the first movie, and then you can dive into some of the other, I don't know, bigger villains or something like that.
Mhm.
And yeah, I yeah, I forgot what else I was gonna say, but that's okay. It'll
Perfect.
come
That's
back.
what we like around here for a podcast. No, like, yeah, I'm the same way because it's so funny, right? Because it's like obviously Joker, big role, right? And first of all, I guess should I go? Do I believe it? I don't know. Like it is interesting that he still hasn't been announced for something, so he
Yeah.
could be, and like I don't know why, but just like like when we talk about Paul Dano, and then I look at like Barry here, and I just look at him and I go like, you know what, that would be the type of guy Matt Reeves would cast. You know, like there's just like
Yeah.
the vibe of this cast so far, and it's something that I'd never thought about until I think someone had said like they tweeted out like, oh, the MCU's Joker, and they were referring to him, and this was just somebody fan casting. And then a few days later, this rumor came out, so I'm not sure if there's any connection, but it was one of those that like when I saw it, I was like, you know what, like I didn't have him on my list at all, but that would be very intriguing. I've said this before, where I think he would play like the creepiest version of the Joker. It's just kind of what I've seen before. So, and then do I believe it? It's tough because, like I said, I feel like Matt would cast someone like this. It is interesting that he has an unknown role, but that could be anything, right? So, if it
Mhm.
is the case, I'd be very happy with it because there's lots, you know, like I obviously I wasn't the biggest fan of Leto's casting, but like I still at that point felt like, oh, Leto could do a good job. I felt with it. Where this one, I just feel a bit more like gung ho about it. I'd be more excited, especially because coming off like Eternals, you know, you weren't the biggest fan. I liked it enough, I guess. You know, it's tough to say it when it's your last MCU
Mhm.
movie, but like I really liked him in that movie and I've liked him in other
Mhm.
things. So I just think too it's something that there's some actors when they get cast, you just go, okay, that would be interesting. And I think that would be because right away it's a different tone. What I do like is, and obviously it's kind of difficult because we have the DCU BVS thing, but to take just solo Batman movies, so far, like I guess you only have like with Joker, you only have Keaton's and you only have Bale's. Obviously, Leto is in that world. But what I was trying to say is, in that world, yes, Leto was already Joker when we come to it. But in the solo Batman movies, we've yet to have a movie where the Joker is maybe already established or a thing, which would be interesting. I think that is a fun, different way because you got
Yeah.
Keaton's, which is like the origin. I guess with I don't know, does it count with Begins where it's just like I don't think it counts with Begins when he hands him the card and he's like, "Oh, there's been these robberies and stuff like that." I feel like that's introducing, "Hey, there's this new criminal in town." Where this is something I think it was even, I can't remember if it was S Bubs or Fractured Wolf last time when they shut out the, "Oh, that could be why those guys had that paint, the face paint, because the Joker is
Yeah.
an established thing and he's just been around and maybe he's missing." I would love if Joker was like the one that got away and Batman almost caught him in his first year and Joker's just been missing. He's not had any sight of him, stuff like
Yeah.
that. There's just rumblings. And then when it's kind of like, oh, the dust settles of this movie, you know, here he comes. The Warriors, there's no end credit. Matt Reeves doesn't do end credits, not in like an offensive way, just like that's just what's going around. So I just
Not cinema.
no, exactly. Yeah, he asked Martin Scorsese or Denis, and they're like, no, you can't do it. But I think the problem with having the Joker, unless there's some reveal where it's like, hey, throughout the whole movie, there's been this stuff happening. He's like the Lee Moriarty, where it's like he's behind it all. I think that with Batman Begins ending with, hey, look into this guy, gives him the card, flips it to the Joker. If you don't have an end credit scene, I don't think you want to end your movie on a Joker setup because people are already, which I think wrongly, being like, well, this is just Batman Begins all over. He's just doing what Nolan did. There's elements to it, sure, but I think you can't end on the Joker and feel like
Yeah.
it's unique. But how would you feel about like a Joker maybe already being established in the world?
I mean, I yeah, I love that idea, especially because he could have like just a cloud over top of the world, like that's his presence. It's not
Yeah.
like, oh, there's the Joker. Like, and then we just see him. It's like, oh, okay, well, we know the Joker's around. It's just, I don't know, little hints towards it. And then I agree with you. I think it would be not executed like perfectly well if it just ended like here's his card, here's your next target, something like that. It's a little too okay, well, this is like Nolan,
Because
and
what
like you
else do you
said,
do
the
with the Joker? I
majority of
get,
the people would do
yeah,
that.
yeah. Like I don't know what else you'd like use as like a like I don't know how else would you
Well,
tease the Joker? The card's the perfect way, right?
you reminded me of my other point I was going to mention, so thank you for that. Of just the fact of him not being like announced his character yet. This movie, how many months away are we now? Like it's coming out March 4th.
We're not
That's
far,
we're not
man.
far at all,
December,
which is
January, February, March.
amazing.
We're about just over 4 months.
And
I'm just jonesing. I'm
it's so
jonesing
funny
here.
though, because like in my mind, I'm just thinking of like Spider-Man No Way Home, and we had like Alfred Molina just be like, "Oh yeah, this is who I'm playing," like in the
Yeah,
movie that's
yeah.
gonna be coming out
They're
in
de-aging
however many
me.
years. They're de-aging. I'm gonna
He
have a
said
six
that in
pack.
an interview. He's like, you know what they did to Robert Downey in the movie? Yeah, they did that
Yeah,
to me. It's like, no
yeah.
wonder
So
why they've led with you in the marketing, you
so I'm just
motherfucker.
so used to like getting this type of information just leaked out. And if this is actually the case where it is the Joker and it is Barry Keoghan this whole time, and it's like, holy fuck, like I can't believe
Mhm.
people can actually keep their fucking mouth shut.
Yeah, yeah.
And like especially for how much that we've seen in the trailer for the movie. And they're like, I guess you could count the face paint as maybe like a Joker hint, but like
Mhm.
really it's not. Like I feel if I was just watching the trailer and we're not talking about it, I'm like, okay, I know who the main players are. It's gonna be Penguin, the Riddler, like those are the main villains of the movie. Those are all we're gonna be getting. We're gonna have Catwoman interacting. So I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm if
On the
there is
flip
some
side, though, wouldn't don't you think the GA might see that face paint and be like, "Oh, that kind of looks like the Joker"? Like, I feel like it's not a seed, but it is a seed at the same time, right? Because who do you associate
yeah,
face paint with in the Batman world?
just goons. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you got me there.
It's tough though, right? But it
It
could
is
just be
tough.
nothing. Like I it isn't. I'm very interested to see why he chose that if there's any meaning behind the face paint. You know, like because like
Yeah,
it invokes something, especially after Ledgers. It's like, and now after Ledgers, like you had Leto's, of course, but you have Ledgers, Phoenix. I think if there's a Joker in this world, he would be Paint. So
yeah,
like the Paint face has become almost just as popular as the bleached skin, if not more. You know, because of
yeah.
Ledger.
No, for sure. I mean, it's easier to do for Halloween, right? Face paint over
Yeah.
bleaching your whole
Well,
face.
yeah, I haven't tried the bleach one yet. I have to do that. Maddie Sags, one of our patrons, says, as much as I love the Joker, Reeves seems to love Batman material. I feels like Reeves' Batverse is so fresh, I won't even need a Joker. I'm surprisingly okay with that.
Yeah,
As always, I'm very biased because I love Joker and I'm always down for that story, but I am also very much down to just see so many other villains and so much other worlds. That's why I'm like, I hope this trilogy turns into like a 6 movie thing, you know?
yeah.
Because
We'll
like
get fucking Mr. Freeze in there at some point.
I already like I want him to be like the Feige of a Bat universe. The fact that we hear like, oh, we're getting rumors of a Riddler show and a Penguin show and this
Yeah,
Gotham show and maybe a Catwoman show. It's like, oh, I'm so down if Matt Reeves like, hey, for the next 20 years, I just want to make Batman stuff or produce it. That'd be awesome because I think Batman's like Harry Potter, where it can be its own. It's like X-Men too. it could be its
Yeah,
own separate universe. Like there's so many
absolutely.
stories and characters you don't
So
actually
many
need the DC.
villains,
Yeah,
so
oh,
many side
100%.
characters.
Almost not every villain, because like I don't know how you would do ventriloquist the dummy, but like almost every villain you could make a movie. And that's the best thing I've always thought about the Batman movies, that I get why they do it, but like if you have a smaller villain, you could easily just make an hour and a half, hour 45, like if it is Man Bat or something like that, or like you don't have to make it a huge fucking thing, but at the same
Yeah.
point, I get why they do it, right? I think Batman has that Bond effect where you want it to be like the biggest superhero around, and
Yeah, no, I double on your point there of just having hopefully Matt Reeves become this like bigger Feige type role, in the
yeah.
DC. He's the hero we need or deserve.
And he's doing
Um
that cartoon show too. Remember with JJ Abrams,
yeah.
he's producing that. So if those shows are true, he has his movie, the Gotham cop show, Selena, Riddler, Penguin, and then that. So he is, if those other
That's
rumors are
quite
true,
yeah.
he has 6 projects that are Batman connected.
One point in time Feige had 6 projects.
Yeah, and now he's
And
got
like
like 38
I
million.
I hope it goes well and like it goes that route because like just seeing him and his passion, like just talking about the projects, about like at fandom and all these things, like
Mhm.
you can just tell that he's like really all in on it. It's
Yeah,
not just like I'm doing this for a check, blah blah blah.
he's
I'm
a
getting
Batman fan.
yeah, no, it's awesome to see. He's got the Jim Gordon mustache. At least he did at fandom. Um, and yeah, Maddie Sags, our Patreon again. I really think the paint face. You're throwing me off with that one.
The
The
paint
face
fa
paint is just a fun Easter egg on Ree's part without mentioning the Joker.
But why do you do an Easter egg of that? Then to because
Yeah.
if it's an Easter egg, then it is of the Joker. It would be I would be another interesting thing, because I think S Bubs may have brought this up before too, where it's like, what if you did a world where, and I'm sorry if it wasn't S Bubs, if the Joker was already dead? I think even if you do that, you would expect at some point to be like, well, he's not really dead, stuff like that.
Well,
Like my pitch, and this is where, because I feel like WB will look at me one day and be like, we're not, after they see our GeekVerse movies, like, you're never gonna direct a Batman movie. But my pitch for and this is, someone can steal it's not that original, it's I because I've written all my Batman treatments. My pitch for how I always was wanting to do the Joker was, you cast an actor that is famous, but you keep it secret, and you do what you did with The Prestige, where you had Christian Bale as, obviously, Borden, and then you had his little
spoiler
assistant
alert.
there. Yeah, he had spoiler for the fucking over 14-year-old movie. But like the way you caked Bale into makeup to hide him, what I would do is, because in the Batman lore, there's always that moment where Batman like accidentally sometimes knocks him down and like hits him in the chemicals. I always wanted to do a movie where like there's a main villain, that stuff's going on, and one of the goons just off to the side is like a really famous actor, but you don't know it because he's caked up in hair and stuff like that and makeup. And then when he gets knocked out, you wouldn't advertise, hey, this guy's gonna be the Joker. But when you're watching the scene while it's happening, this guy would get knocked in the chemicals. Batman would try to save him in that moment, and you go, oh shit, that guy's gonna be the Joker. And you wouldn't know till later on, like, oh, it was a famous actor, stuff like that. That's what I always wanted to do, is like a subtle like hiding it, because it would just be in the middle of the movie. Because anytime when they say, oh, the Joker's gonna be in the movie, it's like the Jack Nicholson thing where you go, oh, you're gonna see him like his origin, right? I'd want to see his origin in a different movie where it just kind of happens, where it's just like, oh shit, like almost the way MCU did, not that it'd be the same type of character, but how they did Crossbones, where he just got exploded, and then the next movie it's like, oh shit, that guy became that. Obviously the Joker wouldn't become Crossbones, he wouldn't die in the first 5 minutes of my movie, but that's how I always want to do it, where this guy randomly gets knocked off and you're like, oh shit, and then you reveal, oh, it was this actor and good makeup, and it's like, oh damn, nicely done. Hopefully one day I'll pull it off.
This again, Matty Sags. He's mentioned. I think the Joker is just such a big character to tackle. It overpowers the story, so I think it would take away from the story Reeves trying to
Yeah.
tell right now. And that's basically the point I was making with why I just don't want Joker to be in it. Like with how much was already thrown into the trailer and shown, I'm like, hey, this is a lot already,
Mhm.
and like not too much. I think it's a healthy amount, and I'm totally down for it. I love the idea of Riddler just being this really, I don't know, almost like I'm thinking like Brad Pitt in the movie Seven, like type like killer, or like just I don't know, villain pulling strings and just leading clues down here. Um, I don't need the Joker in this movie, and that's my main pushback on that.
Well, and I think to that point, as like a counter, is even if I want the Joker, I think the Joker is that type of villain that you can't, like, it can just be him, like this one where like you got Penguin, you got Riddler, you got Catwoman, you got Carmine Falcone, maybe some other villains, Riddler is such a, or sorry, Joker is such a big story where it's kind of like, well, if you do that, I don't know if you need anybody else really, because he just could encapsulate the whole thing. But I just always go back to what I say, and maybe I know I'm definitely wrong because there's tons of people out there. I just feel like majority of these people, when they direct these movies, they always, in the back of their mind, they always have like a Batman Joker story. It's like the same way as like Snyder to me. It's like that wasn't in BVS, but when he got to do reshoots for the Snyder cut, what did he add? A fucking Batman Joker scene because he's like, you know
Yeah.
what? And he said because those characters never got to interact, and he felt like it was missing something. And I completely agree with that. I thought that was a great call. So it's one of these that I still, if you were to put a gun to my head, absolutely, I think we will see him at some point. Just do we see him in this movie? How much? Like I don't know. It is interesting. So I think the paint is just a fun way to have people speculate if he exists in the world without Reeves having to commit to that story. Yeah, and it could be. I think that's a fun way to kind of leave it there. But the thing is, if these rumors are true, then it's not just an Easter egg. Then it is like,
Yeah.
hey, he's in again. Maybe if he is just cast as like maybe Matt Reeves is the way I said Matt Reeves has went into my mind and stolen it. Like Esbuff says, what if Batman accidentally punches an innocent cop, Officer Barry, and then into some chemicals? What if Matt Reeves just fucking incepted me? What if he just stole my idea of just no, he wouldn't have stole my idea. He just beat me to it. But that could easily be it, where he is just some guy on the side railing, he knocks him off. And then in the middle, you're like, fuck, is that the Barry? Like, is that actor? And like, oh, it is. And then 5 minutes later, he's in the chemicals, and you're like, oh shit. Like, this is like, that's an easy way to like, you could have Barry get knocked in the chemicals and you never have to address it again at all in that movie. All it is, oh, Batman made a mistake. He knocked some guy over because he's too reckless. He's too violent. He's not thinking straight. You don't got to tie that shit back to a second or third that what's the deal with that chemicals guy, because easily you could just play it off as, oh,
Yeah,
he made a mistake.
but like as soon as we see someone fall into chemicals, like us, and I feel like
Yeah.
even a lot of the GA would be like, "Oh, I know what that is."
But here's the thing, and that's why you do it near the tail end of the movie. But I'm saying they come to you, Kirklin, they said, no matter what, we're setting up Joker in this movie. And like we've said, there's gonna be no end credit. You probably can't do the last scene because you don't want the like Maddie said, like the I'll look into it moment with the card and everything like that. So if you're trying to do a way where the Joker does not take away completely from the movie, but he's still set up, do you have a better route than him getting knocked in the chemicals just kind of off the side and we address it in another film?
um, I had a thought. I had a thought. I'll pitch it now. It's probably gonna get a lot of hate and not be popular at all.
Well, you can
But
pitch it after this first ad break.
that was a good cliffhanger. And then you natural break.
And we're back. So I'm very excited to hear what this pitch is that people aren't gonna like. So pitch away.
Well, so yeah, I've been thinking about a lot with like the what last time we talked about this stuff with the Joker and just Joaquin and the possibility that his Joker or just the influence of what his Joker was is gonna like could possibly have in this movie. Let's just for argument's sake say they're in the same world and it is the same thing. Like, what if Barry is just one of like the obsessive fans of like Joaquin's Joker that we got, and he's just like embodying like a new type of Joker.
I
Again,
hate that.
I know,
I
I know you did, and everyone is, but it was just my mind was just going on different ways to
oh
fit
yeah.
something like this in there, and I'm not saying he's like the new Joker this way. Maybe there's like a bunch of them.
Oh
It
no.
would probably be tough with like you would have Barry as like one of them, and then like who would be just something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
No,
I knew it wouldn't be popular.
you're not alone. People have pitched that before of like because there's this other story
I'm
in
not even
comics.
saying I like that idea.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just thinking in my head, so I had to put that out there.
Yeah, there's this other story they did a few years in comics ago called the Three Jokers, and it was about like, oh, well, that's how the Joker's been around for so long. So like, there's three
Yeah.
different versions, and every time I go, oh, I don't know. Like for me, like, and I don't actually think Joaquin's in this. I would love it. I understand why everyone like when they share everything, are like, this does make no sense. It doesn't. I still think that like, especially now with it being pretty much confirmed that the Batman's present day and Joker take place in well, it wasn't the 90s, it was earlier than that, wasn't it, the Joker movie? Like, it's
Well, you got to think of what Bruce's age would be, so maybe late 80s because he was like a kid, right?
yeah, yeah, so I think there's still part of the trick, but then people go like, "Oh, well, what about Phoenix to be too old?" I get that 100%. I think there's ways I could write around it, but, uh, yeah, we'll see. I'm I'm interesting I'm interesting to see if this is it'll be funny when we watch it's the same way as if people don't remember, Scott McNary. He's in BVS, and he's the guy that gets end up in the wheelchair. And because he had he had the green screen legs, like mocap around his legs, everyone thought that he was the Flash, but he was actually just some guy in a wheelchair that had a problem with Superman. So it's the
That was
same
the dude that,
thing.
like, climbed the
Yes,
statue,
with the
right? Yeah,
spray
okay.
paint and everything. He's
Yeah.
the human bomb that Lex uses, everything like that. So the same way where we could be watch this movie and Barry is just, oh, he's just a dude. So, and
Yeah.
I don't. It's interesting. I don't know, because it is like, if he is just a dude, I don't know what I don't think he's just a dude. I think he could be vital to the plot, even if it is Mad Hatter, just because it is strange that he is not. When you look at all the cast and everything, it's just unknown. That's a weird
Yeah.
thing. Like that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't really track. Like, even other people have small roles. He's been like, oh well, he's playing a senator. He's playing this. It's like,
Yeah.
well, who's Barry playing? Oh well, we're not going to talk about that. Well, why
Well,
not?
and
And they haven't said that, but I'm just mean like everywhere it's not been brought up what he is, but.
no, yeah, and I feel like because he's not just like, like a fill-in cast member.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's an A-list or anything like this, but also just riding off of like Eternals. That was a huge movie. He's kind of a relevant face now, so
Mm-hmm.
there's got to
His
be
star's
some
rising.
reason why they're hiding his casting right there. And I mean, I was gonna ask you, which is what you thought. Like, he's in this movie. If you had a gun to your head, who would you think he is?
Um, like a gun to my head, even though I'm very unwaverable about it. I don't know who he is, but I would say
Guess
not the
that'd
joke.
be. I was
I
gonna
would
say
say,
that'd be an unfair
yeah,
threat
because
gun to your
there's
head.
three different
Who is he? Who
options.
is he playing?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah. But
know.
if it was, is he playing the Joker or not? I would say no, for
I'd
all the
say no.
reasons listed. I think
Yeah.
it would be smart. And I honestly, as someone that loves the Joker, Batman and Joker are my tied for my favorite characters of all time. I do think it would be refreshing. I think it would be a good idea to do a Batman movie with no Joker. I'm someone that loves Joker. Like I said, I would love it if Matt Reeves says I'm making 5 movies, as long as he promised that I would get the Joker eventually. I'd be like, okay, cool, do what you want. But at the same point, like I said, I love Joker, and I do want to see what would this Batman be like with a Joker. Like what we've even just seen from the
Yeah.
trailers. It'd be very, very, and like I've said before, another thing, like the way I want to write Jokers, like I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but there's still so much that they have not done with the Joker that you could have tons of fun with. So we'll see, but I would say not the Joker. That's what I'd say, gun to my head, and we'll go from there. So
Yeah. I think I would say the
yeah.
same.
He's listed as Officer Stanley Merkel on IMDb, but Matty Sags, lots of people can go on IMDb and edit it. And that's where it's like, he could just be a cop. Maybe he is, but all these rumors have started to kick up and whatnot. So we'll see. Again, less than just over 4 months away. And then maybe we'll be talking about Barry as a Joker.
That's
We'll
crazy
be,
to think, man.
oh yeah, I'm very
Oh,
excited.
yeah.
So I'm gonna let you have dealer's choice here. You want to talk
Ooh.
about Star Wars next or Marvel next? Because those are next. We have like two big topics for each of them.
Um, let's go Marvel. Why
All
not?
right. So you know what? I lie. We're gonna do Star Wars first. You know why? Sorry. You know
You
why?
cocksucker. Just
Because there's one story I want to give people the option of sitting out of. It's that Black Panther stories, just in case if
Oh, okay.
that's
Yep.
why I just thought about. I'm
Sure.
like, yeah, I'll leave that to the end. So I promise you, the next news when we do the next newscast together, I'm gonna let Kirkland pick the whole thing, and then
And
we're
then
just
he'll
gonna
take it away. No, we're talking about this.
yeah. Oh no, we're talking about Barry again. So we had two big Star Wars things. Let's talk about the confirmed one, and then we'll talk about the rumored thing after. The confirmed thing is that Patty Jenkins' Star Wars movie has been delayed, but the whole thing is it's not delayed as like, oh, we're going to be shooting later on this month. It is legitimately just taken flat off the production schedule. And Hollywood Reporter said that like, oh, they hope that she will return to the project. Ladies and gentlemen, that does not mean it is delayed. That means it is like saying you hope someone will. It's different when me and Kirkland talk and can't say a cast like, oh, dude, a few days later. It's not me putting out a statement. Well, I hope Kirkland will return to GeekVerse to do this episode with me. That's some
That's like
bad
I did
shit.
something bad, and they're
Yes.
writing me off the show.
And then there were other scoopers. I'd say like higher. I wish I had like a tier in between C and C plus, but like almost close to C plus, I would say, of saying like what I've been hearing is they've been having problems for a while, and this is not just like a sudden thing, which just is like to go. It's so frustrating because I guess I actually have 3 Star Wars things, and I'll add that to the notes there. But So we have this Taika Waititi movie, which is he said is supposedly after Thor. I hope is the case, but every day it seems like he's announcing a new fucking movie he's directing. So we'll see. So that hasn't
And it's
happened
not
yet.
Star Wars.
And it's not Star Wars. We have Kevin Feige's movie, which we got a rumor we're going to talk about, sure. But that movie was announced before Rise of Skywalker, coming on 2 years, and there's been no movement on that really.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Ooh.
So you have that movie. You have this movie. You don't even know this, right? But J.D. Dillard, he did this movie. He's writing a movie. Nothing about this movie, not so much. You know, have Patty Jenkins movie, and there's there's one other because I remember we talked about in GUA there's 5 movies. I'll have to pull them up. But not only that, between this you have the fifth one is Rian Johnson's trilogy, the movie that even Rian Johnson last past 2 years like, yeah, we're still plugging away, which it's never ever gonna happen. I'm telling you right now, it's never gonna happen. I know some people think it is. It's gonna. And then you have other things, just like remember when Phil Lord and Chris Miller were going to direct Solo, and then they lost out their job, and then Ron Howard was brought in. You had Josh Trank who did Chronicle, but after Fan Forstic bombed, he was going to do a Boba Fett movie. That went away. You had Colin Trevorrow, who was going to do episode 9. That went away. JJ came in. And then you have Rogue One, who the director didn't go away, but if you read everything, they did reshoots. They brought in a different director. And the other director, the real director, Gareth Evans or Edwards, however you say his name, who started the project, just sat there and watched some dude direct his reshoots. Pretty much just watching some guy fuck his own wife. Like it's just like I hate this. And we're gonna tell there's a rumor for D Plus Day coming up. And I am excited about this rumor because it's something you, me, and Taylor have wanted probably since Lucasfilm and bought them and got more Star Wars films. But it's just like now I'm at the point with unless it's Disney Plus, every Star Wars movie that is announced, I will not be excited until they've said, hey, we're on the set shooting. And even then, look at Solo, where they were shooting, and halfway through, they're like, no, we're going to take these directors, pull them out, put Ron Howard in, and we're going to reshoot the movie. So it's like, I can't even be excited till the cut's fucking done. And in the, anything can happen. And I don't understand. Like, this has been happening pretty much since they've started making these movies. And movies are hard. Hollywood's a tough bitches. I understand this. I'm not saying like, oh, we could do better, but just the fact that MCU's have problems, DCU's have problems, of course, but like the fact that for almost 6 years now, they announce these things or these people come in and they remember too, the Game of Thrones guys, they were doing a trilogy. They're not doing that anymore. And it's just like, I don't understand how this keeps happening. And it sucks that now, and what we're going to talk about later, the rumor is that there's rumors of D Plus Day or just in the future that they might be revealing a Knights of the Republic movie. On the surface, I go, fuck yeah, this is what I've wanted since I played that game. But after
Don't be hasty.
but after this Patty news, I'm officially like, they can announce it. I was like, cool, but I can't get excited for it anymore because you look at Taylor, who Rogue Squadron, when they announced that movie, that is the movie he has wanted. It's about pilots. It's about everything he talks about loving along with that and the clone troopers. That is made for Taylor. And the thing is, you look at most of these projects, it's not like, oh, hey, we delayed it. It didn't work out with Patty, but let's go get another director. Lots of these projects just like, oh, they don't work out, and they just drop them for eternity. They don't even return back to it. Like Boba Fett, they're going to make in 2015-16. They're just making a TV show fucking right now. It took like 5 years later. So the fact that it's just like, oh, this thing could just go in development hell and never come out, it sucks. And even though Wonder Woman 2 wasn't the greatest, I still want to see what Patty could do. I like the story, how she said she was inspired by her dad being a fighter pilot. I love that reveal, everything. So it's just like, it sucks, but I can't get excited for Star Wars movies anymore because it just keeps happening and it's really frustrating. So I know I went for a rant, Kirklin. What do you feel about this? As of right now, it is off the production schedule with a hope to return to it.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath for that one. just everything about it is just red flags in my opinion. I mean, you made the comment in our group chat, like, we're never fucking seeing this movie.
No, it's not
no. I agree with you. And I mean, you're mentioning just how it's not safe to like have hype for like these big Star Wars movies that aren't just a Disney Plus project. And I'm 100% with you. And even just like looking back on the last Star Wars movie that we had, like that, not a shining moment.
Do we need to look back on it?
We don't have to. I mean, I'm one that it's hard to defend that movie. I'll still say that I like it. Maybe I'm not like defending it outright because I can see the problems with it, but there's still a lot of stuff that I did like in the movie. But just just thinking of it in whole with like all the other big Star Wars movie titles, it's not like, oh man, let's just get back to like where we were with these Star Wars movies coming out. So like I'm seeing all these titles coming out here. I feel like when they were announced, I was excited, but it's just been so long that like
Yeah.
literally I completely forgot about them until like you guys mentioned, like, remember
Mhm.
Rogue Squadron? Oh, oh yeah. Was that supposed to be out now? Like, didn't they announce it like 5 years ago now or something like that?
No, Rogue
Um,
Squadron they announced last year.
last year. Well, fuck, it's been a long year, I guess.
That's true. Yeah, yeah, Eternals.
But I'm 100% with you. Like I will not be. See, I'm catching myself because I say I'm not going to be excited until it's like, hey, the movie's coming out this day. This is the trailer, and it's like, oh, it's actually a thing. This is this is for sure happening. I'm gonna say now, if they announce something like Old Republic, some Darth Bane type movie, fuck, I'll be like Taylor. I'll be like, this is the movie I've been waiting for. I can't wait. Book book this date in, and then fucking who knows, someone else will be stepping away from the project or it'll
I
downfall.
I would say you just be excited at the idea that it's being talked about. Don't be excited about the movie, because
That's a
like
safe. That's
to
a
me,
safe
this
statement.
reminds me of like some years in my single times where there's so many times where you'd be talking with a girl and they say, "Oh, we're gonna go on a date." Okay, sure, and then
Get your
this happens.
manscape, start shaving up, get
Exactly. Gotta,
ready.
gotta, gotta
Yeah,
get ready.
planning your end game.
And then they go, well, no, my cousin came over, so I can't do tonight. Okay, sure. Oh, well, I got a headache, blah, blah, blah. And then so your psyche, you start to fuck with yourself because you go, do they want to go on this date? And things do just keep popping up, or are they just looking for excuses to have it? Like the Ryan Johnson, we're like, oh yeah, we're working on this trilogy. Don't worry about it. And that's the problem where it's just like until anyone can say, yeah, let's go on a date, but until they go on that date with you, it's not a date, like you're just hoping it's going to happen. The second you're at that restaurant, you're second at their house or you're at a movie, it's like, okay, the date's happening, that's awesome. So it's the same thing as like the shooting of the movie. It's like, I need that, but again, even with Solo, it's like I can't even trust that sometimes. Like I need the post of, hey, we've wrapped filming and we're good to go, and
Yeah.
that's I hope. And that's where it's just like, yeah, we're talking about like last week. It was just before Eternals. That's why we haven't done a newscast since then. Was Knights of the Republic. There's some rumors going around that there's been different talks of different characters of like, oh, who it could be and what it could be and blah blah blah. If it's Revan, we don't really know, but it's tough because like that is the thing I want Star Wars the most, and not even just because yeah, fuck yeah, I love Revan. It's just like that era and that time. I think there's so much to play with, and there's so much of like everything they worry about the Skywalkers, all this stuff. It can go out the window, and I'm even fine for. I don't need them to adapt the game completely, even with Darth Bane or the stories. It's just like. Just do your own. It's like the comic books. It's like, okay, there's gonna be some things I like and don't like, but just adapt it and let's like get some of that content going on in there. Some
Yeah.
comments in the chat. Family Clay says before COVID-19, there's unconfirmed 12 projects. On Investors Day was 8 now. I think at least 4 are being made. Yeah, and it's tough because like all the D plus stuff is pretty much being made. I hope we get some like updates on the Lando show because they just gave us like
Mhm.
like a logo and they didn't say anything. They didn't say if it was Donald Glover or Billy D. They just went on and obviously that Ranger of the Public that was supposed to be show Gina Carano is going to be in. So clearly that one I understand when it's like okay, unforeseen circumstances. But even Kenobi, how many years did we hear that rumored and talked about? And it took a while. And even then, like I can't remember, and the shooting kept getting delayed. I'm like, I'm not gonna believe it. And now, luckily, we might be getting a trailer in a few days. But after the second time you pull the plug, Travis, is that what you? Well, Maddie, that's a good time to add. That's a good topic to add on after 9 because I definitely have done I definitely had not pulled the plug on the second time, but then have had results where I'd gone on date and it went well. So I don't know if I can fully agree. I think it all depends on, and we're talking about dating now, people, not the movies. I think it all depends on the excuse and if it feels relevant. I never liked the sick or I get a migraine or something because that could be true and maybe they could be nervous, but that's the one where it's just like I'd rather just say, hey, I don't want to waste your time. This isn't going to happen. So that's I'm going to save that for after 9. He'll start a trilogy once he finishes his Knives Out trilogy in 2025. Oh, I'm sure Ryan Johnson will. And maybe because Clay brought that up, we were talking about that, and he said he was reversed where he felt like, oh, they're just waiting for enough time to pass so people won't be pissed when they announce, oh, Ryan Johnson's doing his movies. I'm the other side where I think they're waiting just so they can like when they eventually say, hey, they're not happening, it's not a big, oh, I feel like we missed out and people will really have moved on. So I don't know. I'm very much in the camp. I don't think that Ryan Johnson trilogy is happening. Do you think that's happening, Kirkland?
I mean, ask me in 2025 once
Yeah.
that trilogy is over, which again just feels like a Blade Runner title or something, and it's
Marking
crazy to
it
think that's
down,
just a few years away.
2025, November
um,
10th.
and then just like commenting on like Fanboy Clay's comment there, like I remember in that Investors Day and just seeing all the titles and just like I mean we broke down our newscast and just thinking back on my hype on those moments, being like, man, I'm getting all of these titles, all these logos look so good. So like before I'm like, oh, I'm not trusting anything until I get that script again. Fuck it. If I see like a Darth Bane title, you know, just like nice
Yeah.
Sith font or something like that, fuck, it'll be hard not to get excited because, like you were
Mhm.
mentioning, it's at least being talked about and it's at least being like put out there in the universe. I don't know if it slips through, maybe someone else will pick it up, but I don't know. I think I'm lying to myself of saying I I can just cut all hype off until I see like a teaser trailer or like find out that it's actually filming and going well on set because I just you know Star Wars isn't in the peak golden era that it was, but it's also just such a big part of my life that I love it
Mhm.
so much. So it's hard not to get excited and interested in these just at least talks of new products.
It's literally called Darth Bane made for Kirkland Paxton. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that's for me.
And
As
then
opposed
can I
to
tell myself it's like you're not getting excited about that? Come on, my name's in the title.
yeah, exactly. I'd rather have his Knives Out trilogy than the Star Wars trilogy. Um,
Ooh, hot take.
yeah, that is hot take. I would disagree, and I'm not somebody that loves Last Jedi. I've liked it the least and least as or less and less as I've watched it. I guess it's just like I'm trying not to be like hipster Travis, but like enjoyed Knives Out. It's maybe it is because I saw it a few weeks after everybody, but I just felt like everyone just blew it out to be like this is one of the best mystery things. I was like, okay, it's really good. I like the actors, but I just don't think people would like praise it for its unpredictability. And I was like, I feel like
Pretty
I don't figure out
predictable.
the exact same thing. Like I didn't figure the exact plot of like this is that, but just like most of the biggest twists, like okay, I kind of got that, but it's like I get people's ideas. I just thought that for me, it's tough because I always thought same thing away from the characters of like the Skywalkers, whatnot. Maybe he could make something great, but again, it's tough because for me with Last Jedi, that Rey and Kylo stuff that he did is phenomenal. It's out of that world. But then you have stuff like the Porgs or like Canto Bite, and it's just like, man, this stuff fucking sucks. So I would have been fine. I still think maybe he wouldn't want this, but it would be interesting if they were to pitch him like a Disney Plus like Star Wars trilogy, because then maybe it's like it's less of a risk there, but I don't think he wants to do that, Ryan Johnson. And yeah, I'm just waiting because I absolutely loved Looper. I really loved Looper. I like Breaking Up, but I loved Looper, and I thought Last Jedi would be that. Wasn't Knives Out still wasn't that. I like his movies, but I am waiting for another Looper-esque movie where I just absolutely love from Ryan Johnson.
You didn't like the Porgs? What's wrong with the Porgs?
They're fine. They're fine. I think just sometimes it suffers looking a bit too like prequel CGI-ish at times, like especially with Canto
Oh, they
Bite
were
and everything.
adorable.
But
Come
yeah,
on.
they're
They're
fine.
they're a cool, unique character, creature that was introduced.
The
Um,
mystery isn't interesting or any important night. So see, you would think that, but not when that movie came out and the social media reaction was just like, this is such a twist turner. You're not gonna see it coming.
see,
It's like, all right. Again, that's where I was watching. Like, I already like the actor, so I'm gonna know I'm gonna like the performance. So
yeah.
again, I like the movie. It's just when people were praising it so much, be like, oh, this has to be nominated for an Oscar. I was like, cool your
No, I
fucking
never I
jets.
never made that statement. No, because
No.
it's funny we're talking about Knives Out now because I really love the movie, but it's for like the visual aspects, the cinematography, and the characters. Like I absolutely just
Yeah,
love
the
seeing
characters make it.
like asshole Captain America. Like that was just so fun, especially because do you remember what year that was? Like it must have been when like Endgame or something or like tied
I
around
think
that
it
time.
was, and
Yeah,
I
so
think it
like I
was
just saw like
2019.
his ending as Cap in Endgame, and then you get him
It
just
might have
being
been
this like total
late.
prick and asshole.
Okay, it was 2019. So
And
yeah.
Armis, man, she killed it. Yeah, come on
Oh
now.
yeah.
That cast is crazy, but I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm more excited for that trilogy than the Star Wars one because
Mhm.
I still like Last Jedi, honestly. I still like that movie. It's definitely not my favorite Star Wars movie by any means, but there I can still watch it and actually enjoy it. That's probably a hot take, but that is who I
Yeah.
am. So fuck
No,
off.
I agree with you to a point. Other than, actually, I don't know if I can agree to that
Ah!
because I always go back to this where I think Solo and Rogue One are better movies, but like I can watch the prequels and enjoy them, but I like Rogue One and Solo. I gotta really like like kind of like, okay, I'm gonna watch Rogue One. Like it just doesn't do it for me. It just really does not. Like
Yeah.
I will never understand people's love with Rogue One. I never
I never
ever
understood
will.
Taylor's love for. Is that his
No, I
favorite
understand
Star Wars?
his love for Rogue One because they saw Darth Vader and he creamed his jeans, and for him that was the greatest movie
Oh,
of
I
all
did that
time.
too, but I still won't say that's ever my favorite Star Wars movie. Come
But
on.
Yeah, but
Battle of
Taylor,
Hoth?
you know him. Sometimes he'll be like, "Oh, there was a character who just looked at the camera, or like, or looked at this billboard a wrong way, so I'm docking it at point 0.5," and it's like that doesn't even make sense. Or he'll do like,
That's
"Oh, the
very
fighting
true.
style," so it's just like that would give him number 10. So,
You're
but
right. It's like, oh,
yeah,
they showed a serial number on this ship, so it's this one from this
yeah,
era. Yeah, you're right. You're
exactly.
right. You're right.
That would have been all Rogue Squadron. So let's take another ad break. We're gonna talk about some more Star Wars rumors and possibly our favorite new Marvel director talking directing some Star Wars. So we'll be right back. And we're back. So obviously, as we pimped out earlier, you can go and check out our Eternals review. Kirkland Patzer gave it a nice big F there, and it's my lowest rated MCU movie. So for everyone that just says we just absolutely praise the MCU, go listen to that. Um, S-Bub saying Rogue One 6 out of 10. Then they show Vader and people say it's a 17 out of 10. 100%. 100%
It's so
S-Bub's like
true.
that's so true. And that's exactly what I gave Rogue One was a 6 out of 10. And because you leave it. And it's funny because I remember I feel like Solo tried to do that with the Darth Maul moment of like, oh, this movie's fine, but like, fuck, look, it's Darth Maul, man. But that time I was like Maddie with the 2 date system, like, nah, you fooled me twice. I'm not coming back for a third. So anyways, there is so obviously we talked about Feige 2 years ago, announced that he is directing or he's producing a Star Wars movie. And as of right now, I think his name is Michael Waldron, the guy who wrote Loki. He is the scriptwriter for that. But it's always been like, well, who's going to be directing this film? As of right now, again, kind of like the Joker thing, some scoopers and a bit more higher scoopers have said this is true, but then there's someone that I'd say like our B tier have said, this isn't true. So again, it's 50-50. We'll see. And also knowing Star Wars, they may look at Eternals and be like, fuck, it's Rodden. We can't have her direct anymore because they're so reactionary. But like the rumor is that Chloe Zhao, I still got to find out how to say her name, but Chloe, who directed Eternals, is apparently Feige's choice to be directing his Star Wars film. Kirkland Patzer, as someone that you haven't seen her other work, but you just got out of Eternals, it feels like just a week ago.
Mhm.
How are you feeling now after seeing Eternals and then being told, okay, that same person that directed that is going to be directing Feige's Star Wars movie?
I mean, like I'm not like negative looking for like I don't have a negative outlook looking to that news. That's a terrible way to explain that. I feel like you're understanding what I'm trying to say. That like I'm
Yeah,
not gonna just
you're
be like,
sexist.
oh,
That's
this
what
is
we're trying. Yeah.
and racist. She's Asian. Can't do this. No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Has to be a
because
white. Where's JJ? He has to direct all the movies.
because a lot of the stuff that I didn't like in Eternals was the placement of the character, like a lot of just the character things and how they fit into the world. So I feel like anyone that could have directed that movie, it wouldn't have made me love it just because I really don't care about these Eternals characters. I don't know, maybe there's a
They're like,
version
this
out there
Star Wars
that
movie will have 12 main characters. It'll be about
yeah, and yeah, no, I was gonna say some spoilery stuff, but I guess,
yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
said, that movie has only been out for
Less
less
than
than
a
a
week.
week now, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
feels like it's been out for 10 years. But no, like I don't think I've seen any. Can you shoot anything out that I might have seen? Probably
You can
not, eh?
go on Disney Plus, go watch Nomadland, which is the most boring Oscar winner of all time. I'll take that back. That's me just being lashing out. It's one of. It's
What
one
did
of.
you think was supposed to win that year?
Anything else? No, no, Promising Young Woman for sure. Let me go look because I'm pretty sure when I did the
Yeah.
list, I think there was 9 nominees, and I was like, I would have 7 of these win, but let me take a look and see here.
Well, the reason I was asking because it's like, is there anything else that I could have seen that I really loved that I could be
I
like, oh,
think
I do really like the director.
I think her work in Eternals. It's a good thing with the MCU for all the people that went, oh, they're always shitting on the director's vision. They always like, oh, they can't. they put him in a box. They can't do anything. No, it's like I think they do with some people, but with her, it shows no, her style was really there. What and Clay, be honest here. What sounds sexist that I said that like her movies suck? No, that's being complete fair quality. That to me, you are being a fucking like what people want to say a woke warrior right there. Oh, you criticize a
You
woman,
can't
you're
criticize
sexist. No,
her.
it's her films like the same way as the guy that made The Artist. His film was fucking boring too. You know, like it doesn't matter of what gender. Just like okay, so you had Nomadland, Mank, Sound of Metal, Minari, Promising Woman, The Father, Judas and Black Messiah, and Trial of Chicago 7. Judas and Black Messiah should have fucking won. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So out of the and then 6, 7, 8. So there was 5, there was 8 nominees, and there was 5 of them that I thought should have won over her. So that's
Yeah.
where, you know, and to me it just was it was nothing I'd done before. But then you look at someone like we had talked in our Discord, go join the TV Discord when we were talking about this. I think after 9, after the Oscars, Hansi, someone that loved or really enjoyed No Man Land, and was happy it won Best Picture. But if you talked about Eternals, it's like in her bottom whatever. So I could be wrong in saying that because you didn't like Eternals, you wouldn't like her other work. It's just that type of pace and everything like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's directors that I've loved certain other movies and absolutely hated some of them, and I'm like, what? This is the same person. But
Yeah.
I feel like for me, it a lot of it has to do with just like the concept of what they're tackling, and I'm not gonna just love it because of a great direction that the director takes it in. I like it, it's really got to have the substance that I hit with, and Eternals was not that. So I'm not opposed. Like I don't know, like I'm not gonna be out there picket fence with my picket sign being like, fuck Chloe Zhao, she doesn't deserve
Yeah.
to
What are
touch
you doing,
Star Wars. She
Feige?
ruined Eternals. Yeah, she ruined MCU for me. I could
She
never talk.
ruined Eternals. I want to see the person out there saying she ruined Eternals.
Oh,
The
I
people that
guarantee you there's someone on
oh
there.
god, probably didn't even know that they existed until like they got announced.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, so yeah, that was a long drawn out way of saying I'm not gonna just like discount it like right away. I'll be open to it. A trailer could come out and I could probably love it and not even know who the director is. So I'm open to it. I wanna like her stuff, and it's not even like I mean obviously I'm not a big Chloe Zhao fan. I I don't know. I want to like just things in general. When I go to see a
Yeah.
movie, I like I was saying in the Eternals review, when I was going into it, I had no idea what the Eternals were, and I'm like, I want to like this. I want this to be awesome. And personally, I just really didn't like it. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, Star Wars, I'm down. I'm down for it.
Yeah, because then when you like stuff, you just have more things that make you happy. You know, it's the same
Like
way with
Taylor Field,
Austin.
happiest
Yeah.
guy I know.
Like,
Oh no, he did it. I'll I need like some technical difficulty sound, like music come in. Do, do, do. Travis
I
Snell
literally
pull out his like,
brush past the core and unplug. But no, like for me, it's just like with Guardians. Guardians is different because like I really liked the trailers and everything leading up. But that's the same thing where it's like, okay, I'd read them a little, like just read them in like stuff they did appear. But I read Guardians. Second that movie came out, not for you because you weren't the same as me, but for me, absolutely loved them. I was like, okay, cool. Who are all these new characters that like I've just kind of seen in comic books, but I've never deep dive. Same thing with Eternals. And that's where I hate like and Brent, if you're listening to this, he was like, well, you know, you weren't really much fan of the marketing snail, so of course you weren't gonna like it. There's like in the reverse, Guardians Galaxy 2, all the trailers, I'm like, I'm not liking any of this. This looks like it's gonna be a disappointing sequel. You can easily have bad trailers or something you're not into, but then like, oh, it gets you into that, you know? And that's what I was really hoping for Eternals to do. So it's the same thing as this, like when this is announced, I don't like, and I play it up on Twitter and with people and whatnot that, and I'll play up like, oh, the end is nigh, or like Feige's off his rocker. How I actually feel is like, all right, this is a fine choice because clearly he trusts her. He feels good enough that he spoke highly on Eternals. He liked his experience. And it's so funny that you have Michael Waldron, who's writing the script, who did Loki, my favorite thing of Phase 4 in the MCU. And then you have Chloe Zhao, Chloe Zhao, who's done like my least favorite thing of the MCU in Phase 4. So it's like funny that I'm really caught in the middle right there. But same thing, that writer, I absolutely loved Loki. You know, like I have nothing but praise for Loki. I gave that a 10
mhm.
10. It's like a top 5 MCU thing. So it's like he's writing it. They go, okay, that's really cool. I'd like to see that style. So for me, it's just like it doesn't make me go, okay, fuck Kevin Feige, fuck this movie. I'm no longer excitement. It just doesn't raise the excitement when it's just like, okay, let's see what he can do. Maybe I would say it does lessen it a little, but not by leaps and bounds where I'm gonna be like raining on the parade. I would just go like, I wish out of all the MCU directors that he had, maybe he'd go a different route, you know. But again, if
Yeah.
he feels this is the best story now, I think it will be different for me if Nomadland like happened. I wasn't the biggest fan, but again, I don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't think it should have won Best Picture. Then you have this one, which I think is the bomb of the MCU. If I do get the Star Wars movie and like it also is disappointing, then I'll be really like, okay, I don't really want to see Chloe like touch most of the things I like. I don't want her announced for a Batman movie. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, I already addressed that. Yeah, no,
I know.
I
I'm just saying, like with your last comment there.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
want
no,
to
sorry,
touch
yeah.
my
I don't want to. Yeah, just to be clear, I don't want to see any woman ever direct a Batman movie. Everyone take this clip completely out of context. No, it has to be complete white males. Nolan, Snyder, Reeves.
You're
I'm next.
you're
I'm
saving the
next.
trolls' effort of like splicing your words together to make some like sexist comment. You just spewed it out there for them.
Oh,
So there you go.
I know, and
You're
it's just so funny because like there's another thing going around too. Which like I understand. Like we're gonna talk about this maybe with Spider-Man, but there's like one guy that maybe leaked some stuff, right? And it's, lots of people hate him, and I completely get it. And like someone sent me this thread, and there's some thread of stuff he's like, oh yeah, this is kind of bad, this is kind of shitty. But then there's some stuff that is legitimately just completely taken out of context, and I'll understand like you people disliking someone or something, but use actual facts. Don't just use stuff that is just like blown up and everything like that. But still, there you go. That clip's for you to use forever, internet. And then know what? People will never come watch this video and they'll just say, man, Tress doesn't want anyone to direct a Batman. But no, I've said before, I want very much so. I back to Chloe. It's fine. It doesn't excite me. It gets me a little less excited, but so theoretically, it should bounce out to about 7 out of 10 for the Eternals, I guess. Yeah, if Kirkland gave it a 3 and I gave it no, I don't know what you're talking about there, S Bobs. Maybe I have to be clear. I was gonna say I feel like a 3, an average of a 3 and a 7 is definitely not a 7 out of 10. I think that's
just discount my entire
oh
opinion
no,
there.
maybe he's talking about my score because with Loki I gave a 10, and then like Eternals is a 6. That's probably what he's referring to. So that would make sense. So yeah, I'll take a 7 out of 10 stars movie. That's what I think. Like Last Jedi kind of is. It's a little higher than that, but still, So
Yeah, and I kind of forgot. I think we were talking about this. I don't even know when we were talking about this. Maybe you just told me about this off
just
cast,
now,
but actually, yeah. Sidebar there. When did you like tell me this story that like she's possibly
like
gonna
2
be
days
directing it?
ago.
Oh, okay. Like that 24-hour stream, man. I feel like I was in there for like 2 years. I for some reason I thought you might have told me then, but nonetheless, I just remember it was either you or maybe I just learned about it. Like she's like actually like a really big Star Wars fan. She
Oh
has a lot
yeah,
of
she's
passion for
massive.
it.
Yeah, obviously
Yeah,
there's like
so
minor spoilers, but there's tons of Star Wars Easter eggs in Eternals.
yeah, no, absolutely. So I mean, anytime I hear a director or someone heading a project and have that much passion, I mean, we were just talking about Matt Reeves and like how
Yep.
much passion he has for the project there. That's a positive sign for me. So I because she's so passionate about it, I want it to be super successful, not just for her, but like just, for everyone. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that was my other
Yeah,
comment I forgot
and
to
to
say.
me, it's the best way because it's like obviously there was other things I liked of his with like Watchmen and Dawn of the Dead and stuff like that. But like Zack Snyder, if I had just talk about his DCU stuff, like Man of Steel, I didn't like to now. I'm like, okay, I pass it like enough to BVS where I like it, but I have lots of problems. But then like you have Justice League that came out, and obviously it's a big different circumstance. His full cut, he got like a unlimited hours, stuff like that. But still, when that came out, I was like, okay, how's this gonna be? And that, as of right now, is still my favorite comic book movie of the year when I rank them. I have it above Shang-Chi, I have it above the other ones. And it's the same thing of like when I would have started Man of Steel and you would have told me, hey, in whatever year 2021, this movie, this second sequel will be your favorite comic movie of the year. I go, nah, that's not gonna be happen. Same thing with Chloe. It could be like I could be like, man, Nomadland, no Eternals, but when I see this, I go, wow, it's the same way as like you may love a director, but they may have one film you particularly really don't like. So that's why I don't buy like, oh, you didn't like their last work. To me, it's like if they're like, hey, fuck, Rob Zombie is Kevin Feige's choice, like, okay, we're really in the shitter now. I don't know what we're doing here. But with Chloe, it's like, okay, I see the credentials, I see why we pick her. So all right.
You're only as good as your last project, right?
Oh, last MCU movie. And here's the other thing too. For me, it's not a Venom 2 where it would have been like that, where I go, okay, now I'm really worried. Maybe for Kirkland, because
Yeah.
Kirkland rated it last than a Venom. He rated it lower than Venom, so you might be a bit more worried than me. But like for me, I know there's semblance, and especially there's tons of people that do really like this movie. So we'll see. And plus, Kathleen Kennedy's always talking about they're going to have a woman direct a Star Wars movie. With Patty not doing hers anymore. that would make a lot of sense to have this going and maybe go
Yeah.
faster. But yeah, there was apparently the other rumor was that this was going to take place before all the other Star Wars movies as well. So the prequels, everything like that, they would be further down the timeline, which to me is always a good thing.
Always a good thing. Switch
Mhm.
it up, man.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And then the last little news here we have Star Wars because it's gonna bridge us right into the Marvel stuff. Obviously, we got Disney Plus Day, so there's been rumors of a new Star Wars film, whatnot talked about. But we don't know if that's Disney Plus. Just something will be coming. That's where those Knights of the Republic ones came out, and then there was the obviously the rumors are we're getting Kenobi as a trailer right now. There might be some other projects. I imagine we might get a little more in Boba. Maybe something like a teaser on Mando 3, and then Cassian Andor as well is supposed to be coming out the next quarter next year. So if there is any like I guess they're still saving all the movies for the TV. So I just wonder with Old Republic, these rumors of it is like a series or a movie. Honestly, I would very much like it to be a series because there's a better chance we would be getting it if it's on Disney Plus. But what are you most excited to see potentially? And is there any announcement you want to see coming up in this Friday?
Um, anything I'm sorry, what was that last anything I'm
Anything
most
that's
excited
like
for?
what? Yeah, what are you most excited for? And is there anything you're hoping for? You know, like you want one thing, like if you could have Kirkland's dream list right now,
I mean, we already talked about it,
it's
the
Bane.
the
Yeah,
the Bane, yeah.
yeah,
No, it was fun just thinking back to the 24-hour stream and in that weird period of like 2 a.m. to like 5 a.m. Fractured Wolf was in our chat, and I was
Randolph
going.
Gandalf.
I
So
just
good.
no. Funny enough, it wasn't talking about that weird. I think it was when we were playing Call of Duty. I was just like basically like in a DM chat with him, just talking to him about like that era with Darth Bane and
Yeah,
like that
I get
stuff. There was a
waking up in
lot
the
of
middle.
text. Exactly, and he was like honestly like bringing some things to mind on like just where they would actually yeah you were awake at that point. You probably just forgot because it was such a fucking long day of
Yeah,
just like talking about where they would start with it would be a Revan or a Darth Bane type thing. Honestly, anything like we were just mentioning like like before the era that we're in right now. I don't know anything about High Republic. All I know is that it's like really close to the beginning of episode 1. Fucking go way beyond that. Go thousands of years. Let's just get crazy.
mhm.
Just experience stuff we've never seen before. The thing I'm most excited for is honestly probably that Obi-Wan trailer, just because
Yes,
I cannot wait to see my boy Ewan just, donning the robes and just I don't know. I'm not the biggest Hayden Christensen fan. It's like become just like I love his memes.
yeah.
I think I'm still gonna get giddy just like seeing him like on screen with hoping his Jedi armor or something like that, more of a Clone Wars type look.
Oh, I think
Um,
you're talking about his Vader thing. I'm like, that's not called Jedi armor. Like,
his Jedi.
here, Anakin, you're still a good person. We've got you some new Jedi armor.
It was called Jedi armor when he becomes like a Force ghost and he's just like a redeemed character at that point. It's the Darth Vader costume becomes Jedi armor. Nonetheless,
Mhm.
so something like that. If we get more information on the acolyte, I can't remember. Was that one of the ones that's just like
That's
fading
the
out
one
of
that supposedly
existence?
is like at the no, it's at the tail end. Like it's supposedly still happening, and it's like at
Yeah.
the tail end of the High Republic. So it's kind of like a
Yeah.
prequel to the prequel series.
So again, because that's covering some more Sith type things, that has the potential to just steal the show for me
Mhm.
if they just reveal more details and it just pushes all the right buttons for me. But as of right now, I think the safe bet is just Obi-Wan because
Yeah,
Obi-Wan is probably my favorite Jedi out of all the Jedis.
interesting.
And I loved his character, especially when I was younger. Like even just in the prequels, like he was just like my protagonist when I watched those movies. I thought he was the main character, and we're kind of
Yeah,
following him along. I
yeah.
always loved
White
him.
male.
His braid, man. I liked his braid. No, so
One day.
yeah, he's you don't like the blue lightsabers. Blue's my favorite color, so I was all for it.
I like the blue. There's just too much of them. I like him with Kenobi. I do quite like it with Kenobi. So.
Yeah. So then we'll see. We'll get the acolyte, and they're rocking a purple or a pink one or something like that. That'll be your steal of the show.
Oh well, yeah. I want the Revan
I'm
rocking the
just
purple, but
I'm forcing that into existence. Give me
yeah.
a pink lightsaber.
No, I've said it for a while. Where to me, it's interesting. It's been such a journey with Kenobi, but for me, it was the sequel trilogy and then Kenobi. I always said once we got Lucasfilm, like that's the thing I want to see the most because just like Ewan is like you just have these situations, and like I don't care what people say. Like you look at someone like Chadwick Boseman, life is fucking short, and anything could happen. So these years where we start like we're stuck spinning around, like oh we don't know if we're gonna do Kenobi with you, and it's like he's right fucking there at the prime age of like where you want to do the show. It's like let's fucking get on it now
Yeah.
because you never know what could happen. So that's the thing that after the sequel trilogy I'm looking forward to the most out of anything Star Wars. Like even I guess the only thing that would maybe edge it out is Knights of the Republic, but even then, I'd still give the edge to Kenobi because you know the thing with Kenobi, at least it's a sure thing. Ewan's performance, he is one of those things of the prequel where okay, there's lots of bad stuff to me, but his performance is spot on. It's perfect, so I want to see more now. This is a case of what I wanted the show to be. I don't think the show is going to be that. I was looking forward to a Logan-esque him on Tatooine dealing with his shit and like, man, like what went down? Like I'm like kind of depressed and like PTSD, like all this stuff. Like a lot of things went down. What does he do on Tatooine for years while he's just protecting Luke? Now it seems like, oh well, he wasn't on Tatooine for years. He maybe left. That's unconfirmed. But I just think if Vader's in this show, obviously they've already set up in canon that Vader doesn't go back to Tatooine. So I think this means Ewan as Obi-Wan has to go out one last time to see if he can fight Darth Vader. I don't really like that. I like the idea of Hayden being back for Ahsoka. I don't like the idea of legitimately in the original, they say the last time we fought, like you were about to learn and now I'm the master. I know someone's like, oh, well, that just meant they're talking about 5 years ago. To me, in my mind, and I'm somebody that shits on George Lucas all time, so maybe I'm hypocritical, but it's a weird thing I think in George's mind, clearly had okay, the Mustafar battle happens, and then they don't see each other till New Hope. To now be like, well, there was this one weekend where they bumped into each other. Not a fan of that. So we'll see. I that show has a lot. It's a show that I have such on a high pedestal of excitement that it could easily disappoint me. But the thing that I won't be
Yeah.
disappointed by is Ewan, because Ewan's going to be great no
Yeah.
matter what they do. It's kind of like what we talked about with Dexter, some of the bad Wolverines with Hugh Jackman. It's like if you have like Michael C. Hall, a guy who can know that role, play that role well, it's like no matter what, I'm enjoying this. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I mean, like you mentioned, say what you will with the prequels, he's just like a solid throughout all the movies. Like his performance is just great. And he's also an actor. I haven't seen him in too much since then, but everything I
Black
have seen him in
Mask,
there, he's still just like at that caliber. Black Mask. What was the Pooh Bear movie?
Pooh Bear. No, it was
The
Christopher
kid's name.
Robin.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
like
great
fucking
movie.
loved him in that. So
Yeah,
like he's just he's just such a great actor in my eyes. I haven't really like formulated a list, but I could honestly see him being like somewhere on some sort of list like that because
he's
I
definitely on the
loved
list of
him.
most underrated actors. I feel if people don't
Yeah.
get talked about enough, he's on there. So
Yeah, absolutely. So I like you mentioned, like I think he's gonna kill it no matter what happens with the show. So
yeah. And then, like you talked about, yeah, so maybe Knights of the Republic, I'd like that. Like I said before, I do want to update Orlando to see what that show is. Cassian, I don't really care about that much, but I'm down to see a trailer, and hopefully it excites me. It's not supposed to come out till Q4, and then I have some other stuff to talk about to do with Q4. What I'm really interested to is to see two things. One, I'm not sure because Clay said you guys talk about Star Wars Alliance. I haven't got a chance to listen. I was still working when you guys were live. One, I am very interested to see. I guess I'm wrong. We've talked about this before. I was gonna say if they did do anything with the High Republic, but Acolyte is kind of that because near the tail end, so that's fine. The next thing I'm interested to see is what else do they have animated because we've heard a bunch of
mhm.
rumors about stuff. We talked about a few weeks ago of that rumored Darth Maul show. That's the problem with some of these rumors. You don't know are they the rumors sometimes we hear are just people at a pitching table talking about ideas, and sometimes they're hey we're in deep development. This is ready to go. So the animated side, I'm very looking forward to see what we're going on. I don't know if it's going to be if we'll get castings or whatnot. It's tough because Pixar has their own cutout of the time, and so does Marvel. Star Wars doesn't, so I'm not expecting any too big announcements. And they probably learned,
Yeah.
hey, we maybe should not keep announcing a bunch of fucking shit because it doesn't come true. So, that's what I'm looking for is anything High Republic, but also like obviously Old Republic. But I try not to get too excited because I'm just happy we got the video game. So I'm just like okay, I got
Yeah.
something, coming. So
Yeah.
but
Um
what yeah, animation to me is another front where I'm curious to see, and not just Bad Batch. Even if they were to announce, "Hey, we're doing a Star Wars Vision season 2," I'd be like, "Fuck yeah!"
that
Like,
was
let's
the
do that.
other thing I was gonna mention. Yeah, you kind of reminded me with just the animated side of it because we're coming off of I feel like anyone that was really interested in the show has seen it. people that maybe are just general audience members that have scrolled through, oh, what's this? Like it's been out for a decent amount of time where they could
Yeah.
just talk about the future of it, especially because a lot of those episodes, they're not like really ended. It's just like it kind of introduced a peek into this world or something like that. Um, and I think it would just be a great time to just talk about what they want to do going forward, because it's just, I mean, go check out me and Taylor's review of it. I was just saying I absolutely loved like the symbiotic like positivity that came out of it, whether it's like Star Wars doing something really new and also just
Mhm.
shining light on like maybe not the most well-known like animation studios. Like it's just such a great thing in my opinion. I think more things more IPs should do that, whether it's Marvel, DC, things like this. Just to not have like, okay, if it's Marvel, we have to have all of the big budget things. Like everything's got to go through all these filters and have like this grand plan. Like, no, let's just put it out to a bunch of different Japanese animation studios and just see what we get out of it. And they're
Yeah.
just so unique and so fun. And I think at least everyone I've talked to has been really positive on it. Just the show in general, you know, everybody has their own episodes that they like more than others or something like that. But I just think what the show is just such a great idea, and I want more of it.
Hmm. Well, let's take our third ad break. Then we're going to talk about the Marvel side of Disney Plus Day and then some other stories going around. So we'll be right back. All right. And we are back. So let's see here. I saw an update on SBUB says make a Logan style Kenobi with Obi-Wan. Just do a rough grade. Yeah. Very, very funny. Let Deborah Chow give it full control. There was using that was a meme used for the Buzz movie because someone tweeted that out there like years ago or on Reddit. They're like, oh, make a Buzz movie in the style of Logan, blah blah blah. And then obviously they did it. But yeah, I did like I saw Clay saying Travis on Batman saying, no, not at all. I wanted Logan. I wanted the way Logan is when we meet him in Logan, I wanted that to be Kenobi. I wanted just to be like, because I just feel like that's all this shit to go through, you know. But we'll see. That trailer, I will be hyped. I'm sure we can get it. But you know what? I'll be very hyped about is the Marvel stuff because they've said we're getting new stuff. So I think the new stuff is nothing that is going to shock us. There might be one, but I think like how we've talked about how there's going to be a 10-ring show. I think that will be confirmed on Disney Plus on November 12th. Shang-Chi actually goes to Disney Plus, so that makes sense. It just is like good timing. We've talked about that rumored Catherine Hahn Agatha show, so I feel like that's going to go there. There's another like rumor for Werewolf by Night. That's a Halloween special. I feel what's going to happen is maybe there'll be one that sneaks through, but I feel like all the Marvel stuff that we've heard rumors the past few months are going to get confirmed here. I think the biggest thing, what will make the entire Disney Plus day, it's okay for sure, Kenobi, but what I think we're gonna get, I think we're 1,000, even if it's just a teaser. I think we're getting something Moon Knight, and that to me is the like la resistance or whatever, just like the creme de la creme. Like I, even if it's just, I think the best route if they're not ready to show something is just a HD copy of the suit. Because remember that supposed suit leaked a few months ago. I think even if it was just a poster, if it was actually here would be the real creme de la creme. You get the HD version poster of the Moon Knight costume, right? But then you get the 3 or 4 other posters of some of his other different identities: Stephen Grant, Mark Spector. I'm forgetting Jake Lockley. It'd be so cool if you have Moon Knight and then you have Oscar Isaac looking all these different ways. I think that'd be completely badass. And yeah, I think Moon Knight is a given, and I think they'll date it and stuff like that. Miss Marvel's may be a given, but I'll tell you why I don't think it is now. And then Espos also brings up She-Hulk. I think we're gonna get She-Hulk and Moon Knight. I think one will get a deeper look than the other one, though, and it just depends what's coming out first and what filmed first. I feel like Moon Knight would probably come up first because I feel like with She-Hulk, there's gonna be more like effects driven stuff with her being a Hulk like figure. Like obviously Moon Knight will have that, but at the end of the day, it's just you got to touch up the suit. So I feel like Moon Knight will happen first, but who knows? Maybe it's so trippy. I don't know. We don't really have a schedule, and maybe that's a good thing about D Plus Day. I'm hoping shows like this, shows like Kenobi, Andor, the shows that we know are coming next year start to get dated, so we kind of have like a roadmap, even if they're just like fall 2022, just so we know. But yeah, what about the Marvel side? Obviously, this is Disney Plus stuff. The only
Mm-hmm.
thing I want to put my stake on, I don't think it's gonna happen here, but I still am waiting at some point. I just want to say a trash story, so in case it does happen, I still am waiting for Vision to be announced for something, or Vision like a solo Vision project to be announced, because I just feel
Yeah.
like It's just like that character is so funny. He just like left off in the ether, and so much stuff they talk about, but they've been very coy about Vision, and maybe this is the time. But what about you for the Marvel side of stuff?
Um, yeah. So I th- I really want the Moon Knight thing. I think
Hmm.
it's actually a pretty safe bet, like what you were mentioning. Just seeing, all those Oscar Isaac, like whether he's training or like just these behind the scene type things I'm seeing, or just more, I don't know, like plot type things that are coming out with the show. Um, I I think that that would be my safe bet one on there, because I feel like it's been talked about for so long now, but I wasn't one that like saw a leaked version of the suit or anything like.
You never
Actually,
saw the leaked version? I
actually,
thought
I
I
think you sent it to me. Yeah, so it's
yeah,
completely blanked out of my mind now. Luckily, I like cleared the cookies in my brain, so it's just gone.
cleared the
Um,
cookies.
so I feel like when I see it again, it'll probably be like a reminder. This is what it looked. Oh yeah, I did see that again. But I hope it looks amazing. I'm assuming it's gonna look amazing. Um, and yeah, just the whole idea of Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight that's been ever present in my mind for a
That
while
sells
now.
it right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you guys mentioned the She-Hulk thing. I would hope something talked about like what if. I know it's still pretty soon. Again,
Yeah.
I'm kind of carrying on with like my hope of like more Visions things. Again, same sort of realm.
Yeah, the
Um,
word is that they What If might not be coming out till 2023,
Yeah, that's
unfortunately.
what I was thinking. I was thinking
Yeah.
it'd be something like that, so it might be a little too early to mention it. Maybe like the next D plus day, which I guess would be a year from now. That would be like a perfect time to
But
sell it, especially if it's releasing like summertime
yeah, yeah.
2023, maybe like because was that when? Oh my gosh, when did What If even?
It
Yeah,
did come
it
out in the
started coming out
summer,
in
yeah.
August. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, August, yeah. But I do think that there's always a chance there might be something else animated too. Because remember, they said before, and who knows how far they went, but after the writers, they said like one of the things they really wanted to do and was working on was like a solo, like T'Challa Star Lord series. And it's like like I could easily see them announcing, hey, there's a Peggy Carter animated show, like a
Yeah,
8 episode, stuff like that. So there might be something else animated too that we don't know about.
it's not just What If. It may be expanding on some of those
Yeah.
stories that were introduced. Yeah, absolutely. As far as that though, I don't know. Nothing's really jumping out at me immediately. I think part of me is kind of going into it not blind, but just a little hazy because I'm just not like looking into all the possibilities that could be shown. And for that reason, I'm excited for it because I think a lot of announcements that might have been able to see coming will probably surprise me when I first see them. But
Mhm.
my naivete might be a positive in this sense.
Now, I imagine we'll see some of this, but this is what I was saving last for the Marvel D Plus stuff was so there was something that came out today. I think it was maybe from the quarter earnings call or whatnot. And it's so funny that like they've had these big jumps and Disney Plus this quarter has only gained 2 million subscribers. It's just still like a nice little number, but the past are like 10, 16, stuff like that. But it really shows like since Loki, like yeah, we've gone Visions and we've gotten what is it, What If and stuff like that. But it shows like the live action stuff is still like the biggest draw. It's like
Yeah.
since Loki, there hasn't been that many big things. But in this call, and this is where I'm being a bad host because this is where I'm pretty sure it was confirmed, but I should have checked. But hashtag busy life. Either way, call rumor, and there's been lots of talk about it. Is Miss Marvel supposedly not coming out till Q4 now for next year? And it's very interesting because this show at one point was supposed to be coming. It was supposed to be Hawkeye and then Miss Marvel, and then they went, okay, well, no, we're delaying it till early next year, like sometime January, February. Okay, and now it's getting delayed all the way to Q4, and it's interesting. There's been lots of scuttlebutt about this, and I am somebody that does believe some of the scuttlebutt because to me, you never know. But for a show that was supposed to come out this year and it's not coming out till Q4 of next year, that is not a good sign. Now, here's one thing. The only positive that you could try to spin is that the next Captain Marvel movie, I'm pretty sure that comes out. Oh, I'll probably check what you're talking, but I think it's coming out November next year. I'm pretty sure because I think it's close to Flash, the Marvels.
Mm.
I thought Kirklin was looking him up, so I killed time for nothing. He's just looking at more hat porn, but no, let's see. But anyway, so I'm pretty sure the Marvels comes out next November. So like I could make that pitch to be like, okay, sure, it's close enough. Oh no, okay, so it's February. There you go. So So there's the pitch. I can say, okay, it comes out near the end of next year, and then it leads into the February release date for the Marvels. It's probably was earlier, but it got delayed. But I don't know if I buy it as well because you still want the time of like almost WandaVision, Doctor Strange, where you want people to be able to see WandaVision. There's been all these rumors that I don't know how much is true because I haven't looked in that much because I don't really hear that much really about Miss Marvel. Like I'm excited, but so I'm not sure if you've seen this. They are apparently changing her powers from concept art where she is like a, you know, how she's like flexible, or I guess more
Yep.
than flexible, but she stretches everything like
Ew.
that. Well, now they're changing them to like embiggening powers, which are kind of be like the visual representation so far has looked like she has a Green Lantern ring, but it's like purple. So instead of her
Hmm.
stretching and everything like that, it's her having those powers. Now, this I had not learned about till today, and I took a little rabbit hole that some people have compared her getting her powers to like meeting some sort of genie. And I guess people that are like insiders that have seen scripts or seen some stuff about this have said it's not great. So there's lots of speculation because in the comic book, she's like in a human and she gets it from like a Terrigen mist and that infects her and everything like that. So there's lots of kind of scuttlebutt that they are maybe reworking some of her powers or some of the plot points. And to me, that would make sense. Like it just if it's not going well to I don't know. It's strange for a show that was supposed to be out this year to be delayed legitimately a whole entire year. Whatever's up there, something's up with it.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, just the rumors of them possibly changing their powers. That would be a whole thing that they'd have to rework, right? So obviously, the movie would get delayed quite a bit by that. It probably would have been affected too by like the whole like, oh my god, the union thing, right? Where like they're just delaying a lot of things for
Yeah.
production means. What was like the progress on like this film? Like
Well,
you're saying it was supposed to be out this
series.
year.
Yeah,
So,
series. The this is the just
oh,
the
the
Miss Marvel
series.
one.
Yeah, sorry, I
Yeah. I
confusing them too.
well, I don't know if it's
Because there's the Marvels, which is a movie,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
great title.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think that it was. I don't know if they ever announced that it's wrapped, but like if it was supposed to at some point come this year, they must be pretty far into it.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I think I would buy into that where they are reworking her character. You mentioned her initial power because she's an inhuman,
Mm-hmm.
and what was it? Something miss?
Terrigen Mist.
What the fuck is that? They didn't talk
That's
about
a
that in
whole
Ultimate Alliance. That's
convoluted
where I learned
story
about
for
this
another
character.
time. Yeah. It's a whole convoluted story for another time.
I mean, because I have such little knowledge about all I know is she has got big hands and she can fucking smack dudes. Uh, interesting word choice.
Yeah.
I'm all for just them reworking her because I don't know anything about her. Maybe there's
Mm.
some hardcore Miss Marvel fans that are. She's got to be a fairly new character though, right? Like when was she initially
Oh yeah, I think it's
previewed?
almost been less than 10 years, but she's gone
Yeah.
pretty popular pretty fast.
Is it all the Inhumans? Is that a recent
Um
endeavor?
Inhumans definitely are older than her. I feel like they're like maybe early 2000s, maybe 2000 or maybe the aughts. Let's see.
Yachts. Okay.
Inhumans
I don't
8.
know. She's because yeah, there's gonna be a fan base out there that probably like are really in love with her origin story, thinks it's amazing, and they might be a little butthurt about the news that they are changing it. But honestly, I feel like the vast majority has no fucking idea who Ms. Marvel is. Like, I
No.
feel like a lot of people that might know about her are like me, where they might have played the Avengers game or maybe played Ultimate Alliance, and then like that's where their knowledge comes from. Inhumans are Jack Kirby
Well, then they're
fanboy
definitely
guys. So
fucking old.
yeah.
Let's
um
see. Fuck, I can't like they know what it keeps giving me is just like fucking the show that got canceled. Like whenever I put in like debut dates, it's like, no, I don't need that one. Okay. So let's see here. So they were created 1965. I was so wrong on that
Whoa!
one. I guess for me, I
1965.
just because I've never read him, I've never been a fan. I also was not a fan when they like at some point they weren't really doing much with X-Men because of the rights. So they're like, oh, we're gonna stop doing X-Men, we're just doing human stuff. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. There's my comic
The
knowledge.
more you know.
Yeah, created by Stanley and Jack Kirby. But yeah, no, not but Miss Marvel, I know for a fact she's much newer. She's one that she's like in the Miles era, like Spider-Gwen, where
Yeah.
she's not been around that long. Like I said, maybe 10 years. Let's see here. I'll find that out. But no, thanks
Yeah.
for the assist, Clay. Even though I was getting there, but yeah, 65. Well, of course, Miss
Ooh.
Marvel, it said 1977. I was like, what the fuck? But that's Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Because she was Miss Marvel, remember?
Yeah.
August 2013. So she
Oh, yeah.
is, so what, not even 10 years old, Miss
Yeah,
Marvel.
less than 10 years for sure.
That's crazy.
It is crazy, and yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I'm not against them reworking her powers or anything like that. And this
Yeah.
isn't even a project where I'm like, oh man, I marked on my calendar. I can't fucking wait to see the Miss Marvel series. I'm sure once it gets closer to, and I'm seeing some promotion for it, I'll be like, yeah, that's gonna be pretty exciting. And also just the whole thing that we do with these reviews, you know, we sacrifice our sleep for it, but it's still just such a fun event, just watching them and talking about them. And
That and like, cause She-Hulk, not so much, cause there's been like some rumors about some certain people being that show. So I was like, okay, maybe. Miss Marvel was the first one. I was like, if this doesn't look too hype, I'm like, I don't know if we need to stay up for midnight with that one, because I just don't know. Like, I guarantee you, I know, like, okay, Captain Marvel might be in, but I don't even know if that's gonna be like the most hypest thing. Hawkeye being like, hey, Kingpin might be in there. Right now, there's a rumor
yeah.
in She-Hulk that she has like a one night stand with Matt Murdock potentially. And I was like, okay, well,
Woo!
that's fucking fun. That'd be a great episode.
Yeah.
Asbub says that apparently She-Hulk, the rumors that she's She-Hulk 90% of the time. So like my question is, if
Oh, like
She-Hulk
CGI'd
and
up, yeah.
yeah, but my question is She-Hulk and Matt Murdock's gonna get it on? Is this something in the past, or is Matt Murdock about to
It's gonna
get
be
it
like a
on?
Peggy Carter,
Yeah, Hydra
Steve.
Crusher Steve. Yeah, High Stomper, the Hydra Stomper. Oh, I'd be so fucking down if Matt Murdock's getting on with the big She-Hulk. Like, yeah,
Heck
let's
yeah.
do, like, I want to see it. It's just like get Eternals, you know, Icarus. But so we got two things Black Panther related. So one, I'll warn you, the story is like a potential character reveal, and it's something that's worth talking about. I imagine they probably showed promotion, whatnot, but we'll leave then. This one I just added, and I didn't even prep Kirkland for it, so I'm throwing him under the bus, and especially too because it's a touchy topic. So Letitia Wright, there's some problems with Letitia Wright right now. So when this all started, yeah, like years ago, unfortunately now, who knows when the fuck COVID started, but she was somebody that, like, you know, whatever your body, your choice, she shared a lot of articles and she was saying a lot of things. Now, a lot of people, when took tasks of her sharing these articles about like vaccines and whatnot and masks, when she shared these articles, people would look at them and be like, well, there's also like these other things that these people are saying that are like completely not true. So that kind of, it's not good for you to be sharing. And then she kind of walked it back. Now, I don't think you ever saw this report, but there was a report about a few months ago that apparently lots of the cast and whatnot were not too happy with her because on set she was very much like a big pusher of like the kind of anti-vax life and all these things and stuff like that. So as of right now, Black Panther's been delayed because she got injured. She's clearly one of the big characters. There's been rumors of her taking over, even though now there's rumors that they might have someone else be taking over. Please be Killmonger. But so this was an article put in the Hollywood Reporter. So they're like A plus tier, S tier scooper. They are saying that one of the other problems that Disney is facing right now is if you are a non-American citizen to be in America to shoot, you need to be vaccinated. She is not a U.S. citizen, and they shoot in Atlanta, and that is causing a potential. What do we do? And I just it's going to be very interesting Hollywood in this because we not that this is a big deal, but like Emilio Estevez for Mighty Ducks, he was in Mighty Ducks season 1, the TV show, and it came back. He's not returning for season 2 because they were putting in the mandate like we want people to be vaccinated. So Kirkland, I ask you, do you think it could come, and this would be a fucking like solo all over again where you'd start over, but do you think we could come to a point where Letitia Wright as Shuri is recast if this becomes a bigger issue? Because you can only delay Black, like if Black Panther gets delayed for COVID or even an injury or some of the things that I can understand, but if you're delaying it because one person, and it's their choice, that's fine. But if it's just on the shoulders of one person and they're delaying this multi-million dollar like
Mhm.
corporation or whatever project, do you think that there is a Gina Carano type of moment where she will get the boot, or do you think that because she's kind of becoming, we already unfortunately lost Chadwick, and the idea is she's going to become a big role in this, if not one of the bigger ones? What do you like? What do you do if you're put in that very unfortunate situation that I'm sure Feige is in right now? So,
Yeah, it's a really shitty position to have someone like Feige put in because it's just like there's nothing he can really do about it.
mhm,
But also,
it's a
like
law.
at the end of
So,
the day, we're still in the middle of a fucking pandemic. So it's
yeah,
like, okay, she's a huge character in Black Panther. I 100% think it's possible they could just recast her. Imagine they already have stuff filmed. I
they'd
think
have
it's
to
pretty
reshoot it all.
weird. Yeah, exactly. But like
Yeah.
also if they already had stuff shot, could they just like fucking work in a weird death scene or something with her. That would be really weird.
So it depends. Yeah, I think if they killed her off, you'd have to just rewrite the entire movie.
Yeah.
If they reshot it, and this is like a touchy subject as well, but there was this movie called, it's like For All the Money or Color of Money, whatever it is, but it was like Reese Witherspoon, Mark Wahlberg, and Kevin Spacey. Now, this is when all that Kevin Spacey stuff went down, and I'm not sure if you followed this, but what they did do, they got Christopher Plummer to come in, and he reshot, and they legitimately reshot everything. Everything Kevin Spacey was in, they reshot that, but with Christopher Plummer. Different for that because Kevin Spacey was a side role. Shuri being possibly the main character, that is a very tough task, and that's where it's just like I just don't know what you do there. Like I think there is a way. Like it's a headache, but there I guess is a way where technically you could set up, I guess, a studio where she lives and shoot the stuff that she has to shoot. Like I guess you could, but
Yeah.
then you have to shoot everything green screen. You have to shoot everything by itself. You'd have actors who have to act with a stand-in for Shuri, which has happened in the MCU. But I think this is my prediction: if they don't recast her, if they find a way to shoot around and everything like this, an ending will be changed. There's already rumors that someone else will be becoming Black Panther. I think whatever it is, it'll 100% happen now because she's been, unfortunately, since the pandemic started, she's been a fucking PR nightmare, and we've seen what Disney, they don't want that. Look at James Gunn.
No.
Like, obviously it all worked out, but difference is James Gunn, those were old tweets, and then what happened? He apologized, he ate shit, they talked, he was very kind in the public. When you keep doubling down like Gina did, they eventually go, we're a publicly traded company, and especially with Gina, that was different. That was just her pushing her politics on people. You can argue whether or not if she should have been fired or let go, but this is potentially her actually delaying a production because her choice. And again, it's her choice, but at the same point, it's like other jobs. If you might not want to be able to work somewhere like where me and also, like for you, where Shay works, it's like we work in public health. We need to be vaccinated because we can't, put people at risk. If other companies want to take that as well, that is a job requirement. It's not against the law. It
No,
is something where they
exactly.
want to be safe. So it's like, is she worth the like, it's just,
Yeah.
not only Feige, who I feel honestly the worst for is Ryan Coogler, who directed the first one, who's directing this. He has a movie written with Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman passed away. So there's two things. One, the movie completely goes out, but most importantly, he loses a friend, which they've been on record.
Yeah.
They're really good friends. And then to have this fucking sequel where you have, in my opinion, someone being completely very selfish, working with tons of other people all the time and won't get vaccinated and is delaying the production, could be delaying the production. I just feel so bad for the guy who like there's just so much like Roblox after Roblox happening. And if this movie, I will give this movie all the passes in the world. I honestly will. It's just like, because it's just like, I just hope it's like decent, but it's just like I feel like he's just trying to mold whatever he can in this moment if this does end up happening and they have to recast or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on the people that I feel bad for in this situation, because it is one thing to like have your opinion on it's your body. Like you can do what you want, but you're not just like bigger than everyone else.
Yeah.
So like you're mentioning some scenarios of like going out of their way to do these like CGI type things from her house. If I was like the movie maker, I'd be like, no, fucking
Yeah,
recast her like
100%,
instantly.
yeah.
We can have a completely new Shuri. Like it doesn't have to be Letitia Wright. And she's great in the role, which is very unfortunate because
Oh yeah, everyone loved her. And that's been the biggest thing too, because people like they were like, oh, like, and I get it because I love Lapita, but people are like, why did they not give it to Okoye? Why did not give Lapita Nwanga? Like Nakia's sitting right there. I don't care what people say, and some people sure maybe didn't like her. After Black Panther, everyone fucking loved that character of Shuri.
Yeah.
Everyone
Oh,
like
yeah.
was saying she was a standout. So that's why when people are like, why is she getting set up? Why? Because at the time it seemed like a great idea for, oh, this really like, okay, we can't do Chadwick. Who's the most popular character in this? Oh, clearly it was Shuri, his sister. Let's do that. So that's why when
Well,
people are
she's
like,
been
oh,
Black Panther in the comics too, hasn't
well,
she?
yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, it is an unfortunate situation, but honestly, and if I was the decision maker, without a doubt, I would be like, okay, you're missing out on like shit ton of money for just
Yep.
having your opinion that I personally disagree with. And you're delaying the project that's literally giving money to like so many other people other than yourself. There's so many people that want to work with you that is just like you're putting them in a tough situation. And like I said before, you're not bigger than everyone else. Like you're seeing this now with athletes that are just refusing to get the COVID. So guess what? They're just not playing, and then they're not
Oh,
getting
I
paid.
know. Oh,
Oh,
I
you
know.
know, you know all about that.
What
And
a
like
fucking
again,
situation to be in. Yeah.
and like again, just even further breaking like the fourth wall, like Shay, like you mentioned, she's a nurse. She works
Yeah.
with a ton of other nurses that have been laid off because of like they made it mandate where you have to have your vaccine. Like they are always short nurses, and yet they are still letting them go because they are not doing this. Now,
Yeah.
why would someone who's playing a role in a movie think that there's just like they're gonna stop the movie for me? And I'm not saying that's what she's thinking. Maybe she
Yeah.
is. I haven't heard that, but it's again because I'm just so in like in on the situation, like everyone else is
Mhm.
in the world. Like everyone's dealing with the pandemic. If I was the movie maker, decision maker, whatever producer, without a doubt, I would have just brushed my hands off. Okay, no, we're moving on. And sure, you're gonna get a shit ton of people that are pissed off at
Yeah.
at the situation, probably even you, but that's why you get paid all that money. You have to make those decisions. Like, what's the best thing for this project going forward?
And I think it is what is super tough, and it is like the elephant in the room, but the fact that you wouldn't have Chadwick there, and then if you recast her, you don't have her
Yeah.
there. That makes that movie feel very strange. It
Oh,
feels very
absolutely.
like, and
And
that's where I think they're in that situation of not wanting to do that because it's just that puts them in a hard spot. Because like, imagine if you have, it's already gonna be weird, but they've kind of to me insinuated that they're gonna kill off T'Challa, and that's gonna be part of the movie. If you have a new actress who is not, Letitia Wright, connected to Chadwick Boseman, who's playing that role, who's supposed to be emotional, feeling sad about her brother, stuff like that, it's gonna feel very odd. And I hate to say it. Yes, I get it. The sentiment of no actor's bigger than a role. No, I get that. But I think it will hurt that movie a little bit if it's a different actress playing those emotions because you won't feel as attuned to it. And
yeah.
that's where I feel like you almost got to start over. You do gotta get Lapita as like the main character. You do gotta
No,
do
you
something
absolutely do.
else.
You got to
You know?
rewrite her being more of a side character where she definitely would have been a more main role going into this.
Yeah.
And it is incredibly unfortunate because, like you were already mentioning, this movie, even if there was no COVID, we had a Letitia Wright as like the main character, it would still be so like it'd be a
It's
mixed
already
bag
on
of
the back
emotions.
foot.
It's already on the back foot because of
Yeah.
just the tragic passing of Chadwick. He was so phenomenal in the role. I mean, following his death, I can't remember if it was Feige or just anyone else. Like they made the statement like we're not recasting him. Like it's
Mhm.
just that is his role. But this is just a whole different situation, and like it's crazy because like if they are redoing all these things, that's so much more money that they just have to
Oh
put
yeah.
into this project. And again, it's because of someone's decision in this scenario. But I can't imagine they would have like put that in the contracts or something like you
No,
have to get the
no.
COVID because COVID just happened during all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's a
Well, it's like
it's
all the
a
Black Widow
situation they never
streaming
thought
stuff.
anyone would have had to. Sorry, was that?
It's like the Black Widow streaming stuff too, right? That was all
Yeah,
new because they had never dealt with it. It's like, oh well, we
yeah,
could kind of do this. It's like, well, no, you can't really. So I think like what it'll come down to is they will have to sit her down and have a conversation of like, you're either gonna do this or you're not, and we respect your wish
we
if
could
you
be
don't.
having
But
those talks right now.
oh,
We're talking-
100%, because she's like apparently off with an injury, but it is this thing of like, well, if these mandates have changed and she can't come back to film, it's like I said, well, like I think they will try and make it any way possible. So I do think there might be a time where they go, you know what, we will fucking just go to where she lives and we'll find a way to shoot it. But like I said,
yeah,
I think the ending would be we worked that the way we thought Shuri was going to be like the next Black Panther who would carry on the franchise. I don't think even if she gets vaccinated, I don't even think now because I feel like she's had multiple times where she's just going to cause them grief, and I just don't think they want that for the future of the franchise,
yeah,
especially like I agree with people. Lupita Nyong'o sitting right there, but who's also sitting right there, who's supposedly coming back, is Michael B. Jordan. And I think
yeah.
you have Michael B. Jordan as fucking the new Black
Freshly
Panther.
vaccinated.
Yeah. All those bumps are gone off his body. But like, and I also think there's a story there of imagine you being brought back like Killmonger and like you are Black Panther, but not because you're a hero, but almost in like a prison way because like you're trying to redeem yourself. You got to be like we lost T'Challa. You gotta like, there's no one else. You gotta step up and be the guy. And this is kind
Yeah,
of your penance for like killing a bunch of innocent people. And I think there's like a really good story there. But yeah, I think Black
yeah.
Panther is just one of those movies that years from now, I'm very interested to hear behind the scenes or the stories
Watch the
because it's just
documentary.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah. what was the last thing I was gonna say? Oh yeah, just absolutely with whether they're wanting to cut ties with Letitia or like go out of their way to just get it filmed and out there, and then they can look like forward on like what they're gonna do in future. I
Mhm.
think it's all just like cost assessment, like what is gonna
Yeah.
cost more, if we completely redo this or if we like go out of our way to make it applicable for someone that's just refusing to get it. Um, because yeah, they might even just do that because it is cheaper than completely rewriting the story or something like that and
I
doing
think
all
it,
these
but yeah,
reshoots.
I guess it all depends on how deep they are in filming, right? Because if they're
Yeah,
deep enough, where it's like, because like I said with that Kevin Spacey story, he was a side character. Shooting a whole movie where she's one of the main characters, that would be incredible. That would be a task. Like that would be tons of stuff.
you're the
Maybe some really,
taskmaster for that.
yeah, maybe some really bad CGI. But let's take our last break and then we'll talk about our last story and then our last story, and then get
The
out of here.
lack of
Still
story.
Black Panther related. And here's what I'll tease after this ad break: that if you don't want any potential character reveals or something, that I think they will reveal in trailers and whatnot, but if you don't, we will. This is your time to bow out, and then we'll be right back after this ad break. Had to do the big reach.
I wonder
And
what
we're
that noise was.
yeah, no, that's me having a heart attack
Hey,
on air.
Chris.
Yeah, hey Chris. Woo. And we're back. So speaking of Black Panther, so I don't know if this is who like I said, this is your last chance to step away. And I don't think it's anything that massive. People have already been tweeting about, so it's not like a huge hidden secret. But still, if you want to be held secretive, sure. There's a rumor going around that Black Panther Wakanda Forever is going to introduce T'Challa's child, and I think it was a male. I think it was a son. But either way, T'Challa's child. How does this strike you as far as like obviously we already talked about you lost Chadwick, so there's a talk about okay, sure he might be the replacement, blah blah blah. And I don't know if this would be a replacement. I imagine this kid would still be pretty young, but how does this feel for you as far as a plot point if this were true?
I'm not against it at all. I think it's believable, like if it's handled correctly. Like if he comes in and he's looking like Michael B. Jordan, he's like 25 or something. I'm like, whoa, okay, what's going on here? Are they just like literally trying to just completely replace the character of
It is
T'Challa with
Michael
this
B.
guy?
Jordan. He's
My
playing
pop pop.
T'Challa's son.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
um, but like I don't know. Like I haven't really looked into like the debates about this on Twitter or anything, like people's opinions on it. So I really don't know much about the general audience's opinion on it. My personal opinion though, I'm open to it if they don't rush to just get him into the Black Panther role because
Yeah.
it's super believable that him forget his love interest character's name in
Nakia.
the yeah, so Nakia
I think it's Nakia, yeah.
Nakia, like it's totally believable that they could have, fornicated, got funky, and then got I don't know a baby in there before he passes away, and
Well,
then
and
he's
no,
just a
but
young child or something.
also remember the snap happened and T'Challa was snapped. So there's a chance that she
There
wasn't
you
snapped.
go. No, exactly. Because
Yes.
I was gonna just say like they could be this movie takes place 5 years later. You already get that 5 years, and then if you want to
Mm-hmm.
make them 10, just again do like a little jump, not like a 25-year jump, like I was kind of joking about earlier, but it's totally believable, but just don't force the whole this is going to be the new Black Panther because if
Yeah.
you have his child, I think we'll already know that, and then you can just have him there, maybe being like a really charismatic type character like Shuri was. I know Shuri would have been a little bit older.
Yeah.
It's funny we were just talking about that. But like just, in that rage cuz if he's 10, 11, 12, there's so many great child actors out there nowadays where you could really have like a charismatic character like that we're loving, but I just don't want them to be like, oh, this is the Black Panther, he's like wearing a suit or something like this because it's
Yeah.
just so forced. Maybe in the next movie or something, or maybe just even not even in the next movie, like down the line in I was gonna say another series or something, explore his character, but I want to get there naturally. But the whole aspect of having T'Challa's child introduced, I'm all for it. I think that's a great idea, and it's very believable in my eyes because of just the relationship with Nakia, and because it's not like they were like fighting at the end of that movie, like they were
No.
like
They were back
basically
together,
king and
yeah.
queen. Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Yeah, well, and I think like what you're talking about is the biggest thing of Shuri. Next time Baby gets recast. Yeah. And then if Family said same thing, get Terrence Howard to play Shuri. No,
Yeah,
Terrence
she
Howard is
like
gonna play
looks at the
this.
black. Sorry,
He's gonna play the son, Terrence Howard.
He's like looking at the suit. Next time, baby.
Next time, maybe. Yeah, you don't want replacement syndrome. As far as what I mean by
Yeah,
that, you don't want the son to be introduced to just be like, well, we lost Chadwick, but we're gonna have this guy next. Like you don't want that. You want exactly if he is going to become a Panther or a King or stuff like that, whatever it may be. You want it similar to me how they got Sam to get the shield, where sure he gives him the shield in Endgame, but then we do get that series. We're getting Captain America 4, which I think will be again more about being Captain America, being a new Captain America, being a black man, being Captain America. It felt like they was a natural progression to like, hey, this is the way we're going, and this is the story, where it wasn't just like, hey, like you're like to me, if Sam would have got the shield in like Winter Soldier, that movie would have been like, well, this is really forced, but we had years to like that character, like that relationship, and feel like he could be, the reason he gets that shield is because Captain America looks at him as like a good person, not because he's a Winter Soldier, not because he's so powerful. It's like you need this integrity. So the same way, I'm all for that. It's just anytime you do hear, so and so's child, I always worry because you just like
yeah,
we've seen that go wrong so many times before.
absolutely.
Obviously, Feige, I trust. Nowadays, I trust him a little less with this whole Sony coming in and Ralph Boner and Eternals being not the greatest movie for me. It's like I've definitely this year shaken my trust in them the most, but overall, still a very good batting average. And yeah, I do wonder though with that storyline, if it's still even a story that was going to be around when even before Chadwick passed away, because that like 5 years, that's an easy thing to play with, even if he would have been around, just say like, hey, you got
Yeah,
back and you have a child now. And I think there would be something there, especially with the first movie being so much about the relationship of his father and him, to have him and his son now and like
yeah,
to teach this kid. So I think there's a chance that this was always baked into the script. Now it's a bit more maybe tragic because like again, he was away for 5 years and then he passes away. So I think there's things to play, but I wonder if that's why Nakia is not in the hero role or something like that, because she's like this mother to the side. But if she's not pregnant, if this kid is 5 years old, I don't think that should take her away from doing the hero stuff. She's a
no,
trained spy and all this stuff. And S Bubs, don't break my heart with Ray and Kylo child confirmed. Those rumors got me so excited back in the day for episode 9 that
D
they were gonna
plus
have a
day.
kid. Deeply, yeah, the Ben Solo, the whatever. I wonder what would Ray name that kid without Ben Solo around? I don't know what it would be. Oh
Anakin.
no, it probably would be Ben again because yeah.
Yeah, it would be Ben.
No, you could name it Ben because this one would be Ben Skywalker, and it's like because she
Yeah,
adopted the name, right? Even though you feel like again she should have adopted Ray Solo, but that's fine. Let's
that
not
is
talk
fine.
about that. But anything else on this Wakanda story?
No, nothing
No.
else.
Well, we did it. We had some laughs.
2
We had a
hours.
good time. We talked about a lot of things. And this is one thing I got to show up happy about this. S Bub says, I'm pretty sure the leaker previously said what it was Matt Murdock with a hulked out Jennifer Walters. Fuck yeah. I'm I'm excited for that scene. I'm excited for
It's
I'm
like
excited.
International Women's Day type
Yeah,
situation.
yeah. Luke Skywalker Jr. for their child name. Yeah, that would have been something else. Well, especially because Matt's blind. I feel like I wonder, is he gonna know she's bigger or is he gonna find that out like in the throes of passion? And I think it's just gonna be like, oh, you're pretty big for a lawyer, like you're the reverse of a short stormtrooper and stuff. Like, I don't know. Are we getting a scene where She-Hulk literally just like picks Matt Murdock up and stuff like that?
I fucking hope. A man can
Yeah,
dream.
that's gonna be what this show at D Plus Day, just to trailer that. But yeah, we'll be back. It'll be probably Friday night, probably around this time, 8-ish for live, and then if not Saturday. Usually we don't drop the newscasts; they're usually in the weekdays, but we
Yeah.
want to talk about D Plus Day, and hopefully there's some good stuff. Hopefully it's not disappointing. If not, I'm sure between Thursday and Friday there'll be a bunch of other news. So as always, sir, thank you for joining me on this one. Anything to say before we close this out?
No, that was lots of fun.
Mm.
Long live the Rangers Alliance.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's end this right here. That's some bullshit right now. So yeah, when you hear from us next for 428, we promise you it'll not be boring. The Rangers suck.
Peace.